Hello. Hello. Evie's here. Hi, Evie.
Hello.
How's it going?
As I was just telling you, I literally just woke up from a nap because apparently I'm a toddler, and I need my afternoon nap. And I was just stuffing my face before this, so I am ready to go. I'm ready to determine which books you're chucking because it's my decision, not yours, apparently.
This is going to be tricky. First of all, we have something in common immediately. Because, yeah, I also just woke up from a nap. I looked at this kind of part of my hair and I thought, should I do anything? And I thought, absolutely not. Right. Here's what this is. I'm leaving for Kuwait. Hi, Peter. I'm leaving here not for Kuwait. I just left Kuwait. I'm not going back to Kuwait. No, there's no way. I'm going to Japan in about 10 days. And these are, hi, Birdie in the books. Good to see you. These are all the books that belong to me that have been in my parents' house. Basically, hello, cat. What's the cat's name?
Oh, this is the dog. This is Max. At some point, my cat will show up and
I just see a tail.
Yeah. Max, come on. Come on, buddy. Yeah, he's trying to get the cat's food, so.
Quite right.
But yeah, that's Max.
Hi, Max. Right, okay. Let me get through my spiel. 2 seconds. I need to get rid of about 2/3 of these. Ideally 2/3 of these. I think probably it'll be more like 50% because a lot of these have some kind of pretty emotional resonance with me. And I know that your time is short. You've got a couple of hours. I think I'm going to have to sit here until I make some clear-cut decisions about some of these. None of them are going to go in the bin, or probably not. Most of them will get donated. So I have to bear that in mind myself as well, right? When we're deciding which ones to chuck, which ones to keep. They're not going to just go in the bin. I have to remind myself of that. I'm telling myself that because, man, it's going to be tough. Some of these I've had legit for about 10, 15 years. And I haven't read them, but that doesn't mean I don't want to read them.
As I tell my husband every single time, he tells me, I think you need to go through your books again. I tell him, but I'm going to read them at some point.
What's the book that you have on your shelf that you've had for the longest and you still haven't read?
Oh, gosh. Because I do regular purges and I just kind of cycle through them. I probably Lord of the Rings.
Have you not read Lord of the Rings?
I technically read Fellowship of the Ring, but I'd never continued past it.
I got savaged in one of my videos for confessing that I've not read the trilogy. See? Kindred.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. People were raging at me. People came at me in the comments. They're like, you're a fantasy booktube channel and you've not read Lord of the Rings. And I went, yeah. And then I ran away.
Well.
It's long.
It is long. I mean, have they read every other fantasy book? Have they read Lord Dunsany?
Have you?
That's fantasy, yes. Well, I've read one, so. Kate Elfland's Daughter is very, very good, by the way.
I think we need to start I have not read Lord of the Rings support group because I feel like I'm on the attack.
It would be hysterical if Philip Chase joined it.
Has he read it? He's read it.
Oh yeah, he definitely has.
Okay. So. He was one of the ones who commented, I can't believe you've not read Lord of the Rings. Anyway.
Oh, really?
What we'll do is there's it looks to be about 20 piles. I say we get through a couple of piles, have a chat, a couple of piles, have a chat. Sure. And see how it goes. I don't want to. I really don't want to, Evie.
Are you sweating yet?
Genuinely, yeah. Actually, I'm wearing shorts for the first time in about 2 years because in Kuwait it's a bit what's the word? It's a bit show-offy to be wearing shorts. I feel like I'm seducing the internet right now. Okay.
But isn't it so hot in Kuwait? I would expect wearing.
Yeah, but it's it's what do you call it? It's a modesty thing. Right, before we do this, Zachary Shea is from the channel. Zachary Shea is about 19 subscribers away from 1,000. So anyone watching this right now, go to him and unsubscribe to wind him up. Okay, good.
And also because he bought the Vanished Birds and the Spear Cuts Through Water because of my recommendation. So if you like me, subscribe to Zachary. I don't like to assume intimacy by calling you Zach, but yeah.
Call him Shay. He likes Shay.
Okay, Shay.
Yeah. Okay, and hi Tuesday, folks. Right, I do want to talk to you about the Spear Cuts Through Water, but I'm going to just get to it. Right, choose from my perspective. I know I'm flipped. Left, right, center.
My brain works very logically. Left or right?
Right. Okay. Okay. Right. I'm just gonna choose a stack. Choose a stack, mate. I'm gonna go over here. We'll do these first. We're gonna have to go at these at some clip. Otherwise, you'll have to leave in a couple of hours, and I'll be left with about a million books. Okay.
I mean, I have plenty of time. I just might have to leave for a second to go grab dinner, even though I just grabbed some food before this. And I might eat on screen. It's fine.
That's fine. Fine by me. Right. The first one, you're gonna laugh at me. I have to keep because I'm doing a reread of Yotsuba. Have you read about Yotsuba?
I have never read any sort of manga, graphic novel, anything like that.
This is. I know we can't talk about every book like for 5 minutes at a time. This is my favorite manga, and all it is a slice of life about a little girl. A little girl. Let's open it up to a random page, and that was the page I opened it to. It's just a little girl living her life, her and her dad. And I said in a video that I just posted about loving father-child relationships, and it's Yotsuba. It's Yotsuba that I think of all the time because this is just the most fabulous little story. And I also read it in Japanese, so it's also kind of a source of kind of nostalgic pride for me.
Is it still an ongoing series, or is it like finished?
It's not finished. I think they're up to volume 15. It's just sweet. It's just chill, lovely, slice of life. So I need to keep this one. So I'm already failing. Right. I'm gonna see this corner here with the Doctor Who pillows. Yeah. That's gonna be toss. And here is gonna be keep. So you don't have to see my keep pile. This is a really tricky one, okay? Because I have this really fabulous copy of Don Quixote that is now out of print. Hi Anitha. Sorry, I'm getting myself distracted.
Who's the translator?
So it's translated. Do you like Don Quixote?
I love Don Quixote. I love Don Quixote to the point that I've been debating getting one of Gustave Doré's pieces of Don Quixote and Sancho Panza.
Right. So this is by a publisher called Visual Editions, and they're now out of print. They went bust, but they produced these lovely, kind of color-coded, clever editions of books, or they did. And this is the Don Quixote one. But here's the problem, Evie. Well, the first problem is we're 2 books deep in 7 minutes. But the second problem is that I don't like Don Quixote very much.
I'm leaving. It's fine. It's fine. Wait. Didn't you say that these are books you haven't read?
I've read some of them, to be fair, but they hold some kind of nostalgic or aesthetic value as well. So I haven't read maybe half of them, and the ones I have read, I've kept for various reasons. Right, I know you were joking in the comments, okay? Do you want this?
I mean, I already have a copy of Don Quixote, but there are never too many copies of Don Quixote.
You don't have this copy of Don Quixote. Do you want this, for real? I'm not going to do this for every book, but do you want this one? Because this is a nice copy that you just can't find anymore. Right, this is going in an Evie pile. Okay, because then it has a good home. Okay,
and
we're going to go through some more.
By the way.
Say again?
To be clear. I will pay for shipping, just to be clear.
We'll sort that out later. Don't worry about it. Right, okay. This one, I think I have to get rid of. It's a university book. Experimental novels from 1940 to 1980. I loved experimental fiction in university. I still do. It's a break.
I'm going to anger everyone and say it's modernist, so chuck it anyways.
Or get rid of it.
Yeah, get rid of it.
Right. Okay. This is the... Oh, I made this way too far away. Do you know what I'm going to do? 2 seconds. Evie, entertain the chat.
Okay. Hi, Anitha. Hi, Matt.
I didn't say entertain Anitha. I said entertain the chat. Just kidding. It's our birthday no longer. Just kidding.
Tuesday Fox also had to ditch their copy of Don Quixote in a Moving Countries unhaul.
It's too big.
Now I can't unsee Don Quixote as a Dairy Queen because they shorted to DQ.
Right. Gonna have to get rid of this one because it's 2 kilograms. The Norton Anthology of Theory and Criticism.
Chuck it.
Chuck it. It's too heavy.
I'm sure you've got enough theory and criticism to, you don't need it. You don't need Norton's help.
I am the chat, David. I am the chat.
Also, hi, Alicia, as well.
Right. Okay, next. The Talisman by Stephen King.
I've heard that's not one of the good ones,
Mm-hmm.
so I say check it.
Let's do it. I want to read it. I have it on Kindle. The Collected Poetry of W.B. Yeats.
Do you like Yeats in general?
Sorry, this is where we have to pretend that we're not typing to each other at the same time, isn't it? Not really. Not really. I don't mind
Leda
it.
and the Swan, though? Leda and the Swan.
I like the idea of Yeats, like Yeats sitting in his tower writing his poems. But then I open it up and I'm kind of like, okay, this is dreary.
Fair. All right, then check it.
Right, okay. You need to deal with something very quickly. Look, I did this in university. I studied them in university. And I still have the tests that the professor gave us at the start of every lesson. I lived in the States for a year and I took a British literature class because I thought that was very ironic because I was an idiot. I actually bombed all these questions, so we're going to toss Yeats. Right. This is going quite well, you know. We've got one kept and like 6 abandoned. So I think we're doing okay. Wind and Truth. Bye.
Chuck it. Now, thank goodness.
I hate that book. Right, okay. Now, this one, we can't...
Not on books, yes. I do think he's actually in the attic.
I am... Well, no, this is the attic before the attic. There's 2 attics in my parents' house. There's this kind of like liminal floor. And then there's one kind of up high, which I've been scurrying up and down via a ladder today, which is why if I ever look a bit dirty, it's not me, it's the ladder. But yeah, this is a book that I'm not going to toss, but I need to show it to you. Don't say, Anitha, don't say all university books out the door. We can't do that. The pre-attic, yeah. Right, this book is worthless, but it's old, and I don't want to get rid of this. Guess how old this book is?
What's it called?
It's called The Spanish History, and it's so old the S looks like an F. Or a relation of the differences that happened in the court of Spain between Don John of Austria and Cardinal Notard with other transactions of that kingdom. It's a non-fiction book. But the reason that I have this, my grandmother I said she gave it to me. It was of no significance. She just had it on a shelf and said, take that, David. A lot of these old books I have because my grandmother sort of threw them at me because she didn't want them because someone above her generation. However, this book is 350 years old. And I hesitate it's worth nothing. But I hesitate to kind of get rid of sort of some kind of cool historical document. Do you know what I mean?
Do you have a third option between taking it to Japan and chucking it and just leaving it at your parents' house?
So the reason I'm doing this is they're literally moving house too. They're moving down the road, but they've encouraged me, shall we say, to get rid of a bunch of stuff. It looks like it's been through a lot, yeah. I think I'm going to have a small selection of old books that I'm just going to decide what to do with later because it feels wrong getting rid of this, doesn't it?
Maybe you can donate. I don't know. Is it still in print?
Who wants it anyway?
Let's do that. I mean, if it's no longer in print, maybe like a library or something would take it.
Yeah, my grandmother wrote this book, so I have to keep it. Okay, that was easy.
And he said there's already an Evie pile starting.
Right.
No joke.
Okay, that's easy. I have an old copy of Charlotte Bronte's Shirley. How old is it? Let's check.
Charlotte Bronte stinks, so chuck it.
Chuck it. This edition is 70 years old.
Yeah. Again, Charlotte Bronte stinks. Emily Bronte superiority.
Right, I'm just going to dox myself because someone asked, what book did your grandmother write? She wrote this book. My grandmother is an absolute legend. She's not very well right now, but she is one of my favorite people. And she wrote this book called Newton Mearns Through Time. Okay, so you can all find me now. And so it's just a history of the town that she grew up in collaboration with someone else. It's mostly pictures. She basically wrote a picture book, but she's so funny. She's so funny. When she got this published, guess what we all got for Christmas that year?
That book.
Signed copies. She signed them. But she didn't personalize the signatures. She just wrote her name and then gave them to us. I don't think she even wrapped them up. She's such a legend. At least
the birthday card is more personal.
Right. I gotta keep it. It sounds like you've got a head for the classics. A little bit. Jane Eyre.
A little bit, but yeah. Freaking Charlotte Bronte.
She's going in the trash. Do you know what? We're doing okay so far. Let me get through these two, then I'm going to look at the chat. This is another book my grandmother gave me, so I have to keep it. Do you know what this is?
Something you can double as a weapon.
It's heavy. It's really heavy. This is another book that a relative gave me because they know I like books. It's a book called The History of the Boer War from 1899 to 1900. And you know why it stops at 1900? Because that's when the book was published. The book's 125 years old. I am loath to get rid of these kind of ancient documents that have been handed down to me. But this thing is like 3 kilos. Like it feels like a baby.
Yeah, I would say, like, especially for those old books, see if you can donate them to, like, a library. Because I'm sure they'll find some place to, I don't know.
Do you know what this looks like? You know how when you go to like coffee shops or something, they sometimes have wallpaper with like books. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah, the fake books and stuff.
It looks like a fake book. Yeah, I'm going to keep it. Oh, it's heavy. Right. Can we talk to the chat for a minute?
Mm-hmm.
Evie, talk to me about the spear cuts through water. Because that was your comment on my 1,000 subscribers video. And I know that it's listen, the books I love, if someone said to me, tell me about them, I would be delighted. So I want to give you the opportunity for anyone who has not read this book to pitch The Spear Cuts Through Water.
So, 1, Anitha, I sent you a link. Why aren't you joining?
Anitha.
2, why didn't you respond? Oh, yeah, so Spear Cuts Through Water. I have a copy. Wait. I have multiple copies.
How big is it? Middle.
525 pages. Not bad.
Perfect. She tried to send it to me, Matt. Sorry. And I declined because I'm doing this right now. But
true.
I don't want to read it.
It's true. Yes. So if you like epic fantasy, if you like interesting narrative structures, if you are an appreciator of epics in the capital E sense, like older epics, this is the book for you. It is it's really hard for me to explain why I love this book so much. It is, I mean, I love The Vanished Birds, which is his sci-fi. That was the first book that I read from him because it was the first book he ever wrote. And then this came out and I just fell in love with it. It is technically a story on paper. It's a story about 2 men shepherding a old goddess across a world. And there's just also an exploration about identity and sexuality, and it's so good. He uses all of the tenses, first, second, and third person throughout, not
second
just like
tense.
Yes.
Oh,
second person or what have you.
Yeah.
But as an example, the first couple of lines are: before you arrive, you remember your Lola smoking. You remember the smell of her dried tobacco like hay after a storm. So it starts with you. He invites you in as a character. And the narrative tenses are throughout the book. It's not like, oh, this one chapter is first person, the next chapter is second person. He weaves it throughout. And the third person tenses are kind of like these, first person tenses are kind of like these kind of almost Greek chorus asides.
Nice.
Talking to you as the reader. And it's so good. I love it so much.
But what I find interesting is that, and I'm not asking you to, you described it without ever telling me about the plot. It's one of these books that I've seen and I have no idea what it's actually about.
So on
because
paper,
it's got different voices and it's a meditation on, what did you say, sorry, memory and sexuality and all this stuff. What's it about?
On paper, it is about 2 men shepherding a goddess across a country. Hi, Anitha. Happy belated birthday, Anitha.
Thank you. Hi, David.
Hi, good to see you. We were frantically messaging in the private thing, like, let's get Anitha on, let's get her on. That's why we were not talking about 7 minutes ago.
Thank you. I am here to create chaos, actually. You know, I don't like silence, so.
Good. But you did. We are overriding Evie's pitch of the spear cuts through water. So I think she's about to execute it.
This is a great opportunity for me to pitch yet again Spear Cuts Through Water to Anitha, because she has still yet to read it as one of my best friends, and she still hasn't read my favorite book. It's okay, Anitha.
Actually, yesterday I realized that I haven't read a single Evie book.
Fine.
I mean, there are many books I read which Evie likes, but they're not for Evie. Like, suppose I read Realm of Elderlings, but I did not read them for Evie. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yotsuba.
Is that the same series from before?
Yotsuba. Look how cute she is. She's just like my daughter. I mean, Yotsuba's 4 and my daughter's 2, but I guarantee, like, same person. Anyway, I'm keeping all of these.
And you're all caught up on that series, by the way, right? Or is it just...
Yeah, I'm up to... I read up to volume 14. He only releases them every, like, 4 or 5 years.
Wow.
But I'm really indebted to them because I was in Japan for 6 years. In the first 3 years, I did not learn a lick of Japanese. And I gave myself all the classic excuses, like, I'm busy. It's tricky, man. And really, I was just being an ignorant so-and-so kind of coasting on English. And so my second set of 3 years in Japan, so we moved away, we came back. I prioritized, like, I do want to learn some of this language. And I got semi-conversational, very, very weak semi-conversational. But Yotsuba was the first story that I got from beginning to, not the end, but, current release, reading it entirely in Japanese. So it does hold a special place in my heart. And I do love, like, these father-child relationships. So
you can read Japanese.
I could read Japanese. I think I need to buy the English copies for my reread, but we'll see how it goes. It's a really good series, Yotsuba.
But going back to Spear Cuts Through Water, so...
Okay.
David, now you'll regret bringing up Spear Cuts Through
Water. I asked.
But yeah, no, but literally on paper, it is about 2 men shepherding a goddess across the country. And the...
Question.
Yeah.
Why does goddess need shepherding? Doesn't goddess need have powers?
You're playing with fire.
So that's part of the plot. So, like, literally, she's kind of like she can't move herself. She can only, like, she's basically kind of like in stone because she's so old and fragile. She's using all of her power to just keep herself literally together.
So I'm finding the comments that are cementing the opinion that you have to read this book. Matt says Evie hasn't sent you it yet, and this proves she doesn't like you. So she did offer.
I'm just waiting for David to be in Japan so I can be like, listen, buddy is better, Matt, than Dave. I wish I could pull off Dave, but I can't. If I could, I'd love to. But I feel like I don't have Dave energy. You know what I mean?
Did you already get a house in Japan? If you haven't yet, you have to remember, like, Evie, because you have to buy at least extra, like, get a house which has extra room for all the books Evie is going to send you.
This is my problem. This is my problem, right? I've said to my wife, I said, listen, we're moving to West Tokyo, so it's a little bit more suburban. It's like 30 minutes into, like, the heart of Tokyo, and it's 30 minutes into the mountains, which is perfect. Houses in Japan are so small. They're so small. And I said to my wife, listen, I don't care where we live. I don't care if I have to do a crazy commute. I need an office. And by an office, I just mean a space where I can close the door and justify it by calling it an office. Because I didn't have that in Kuwait, and it was a bit of a challenge. So I want a book room. I want a library /cave/office /EV book space. So it'll be coming. That's my hope.
All right, so TLDR for Spear Cuts Through Water. 2 men shepherd a goddess across countryside. There are multiple tenses. All of the tenses are used, points of view. And theaters are involved. So if you like theater...
Theaters?
Yes.
Okay.
Specifically one theater called the Inverted Theater. So if you don't like theaters, that might bug you. So...
I'll read it by the end of this year. You have my word. And my axe, sorry. Yeah.
And my bow! Anitha?
Yeah. Okay, David, that will be our first buddy read. Okay?
Mate, let's do it. Okay, right, let's barrel through some of these. Yeah. Literature in the Language Classroom. It's a teaching text. I've never looked at it. It's getting to
Chuck
me. Chuck it. I like this. Chuck it. Japanese short stories, language study. I should probably keep that, huh?
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for short stories, so
Yes.
But they're language acquisition. And you know what? You'd expect these things to be quite cheap. This was about $18.
Well, you did mention that you might have to reread that manga in English, so maybe you could keep that, reacquaint yourself.
You can read that maybe on the way to Japan,
Yeah.
to reacquaint yourself with the language.
Do you know as well, I took this book with me I went on a trip to Myanmar. This was like years ago. And it was actually, I found out that my wife was pregnant with my son just as I got on the plane to Myanmar. And then I spent that week walking around Myanmar reading this book. So I think for nostalgic purposes, I have to keep it. Even though I advised you both to tell me to be absolutely, strict. Apparently I'm already kind of nameless priests I'm seeing in the chat. But right, okay. I've heard the Poppy War's garbage. Can I chuck it?
Yes.
It
Chuck it.
depends. Wait. Many people liked first two books. It depends on what kind of books do you like. You like actually.
I also have it on Kindle.
Chuck
Okay.
it.
Chuck it.
Chuck it. Also, Beps, I have read Piranesi. Piranesi is wonderful.
I love Piranesi. I love it so much.
Have you read Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell?
It's too big. No, I just haven't. I adored Piranesi. I thought it was a fabulous little book. Anything?
No, not yet. I haven't read any. Actually, I was supposed to read Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. I watched with Evie and Pete. Both of them liked the book. We did watch along recently this year, actually.
And you kept asking questions. What about this? What does this mean? And like, read the book, Anita!
They hoped that will convince me to read the book, but I hated Mr. Norrell so much. I complained about it so much. I was like, okay, I'm not reading. They were very disappointed.
I've heard it's much more complex than Piranesi.
It's more like very classic fantasy, old school London setting.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
Yeah, Susanna Clark writes in the style of like Dickens style.
Okay.
And it's very intentional.
Oh, I'm going to say I'll give it a go. I think my priority is Spear Cuts Through Water, but Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. I mean, she's only written those two books, right?
There is a short story collection, I think.
Yeah.
I love the setting. It reminded me of those Sherlock Holmes settings, I think. Old school London, black and white.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. If I can find it, maybe a digital copy is best, huh? Matt, only you can call me Dazza. How about that? No one else, just you. It could be our thing. The Cantos of Ezra Pound. Ezra Pound, horrible human being, good poet, but it's thick.
No.
I mean,
by the way, what do we mean by chuck it here? Where are
Chuck
you?
it means
get rid of it. Get rid of it. Get rid of it.
Get rid of where? Where are you giving?
I'll give them to friends. I'll donate them to charity shops. I might try and put them on Facebook Marketplace.
I did make the joke of burning them all, but that wasn't serious. I don't endorse burning books in any capacity.
Can you imagine being such a pretentious poet that halfway through your magnum opus, you just start slinging in Chinese characters?
Yeah.
Wow.
He is, Ezra Pound is the proto Instagram poetry.
Wow, that is
such a good line, and I'm going to pretend that I came up with that. I love Dan Simmons. I've read this book, and it was rubbish.
I've never even heard of that. Chuck it.
So Dan Simmons is brilliant in the sense that he can write anything he wants, but some of it is better than others.
I've only read Hyperion and Fall of Hyperion, but I've heard that The Terror is really, really good.
The Terror. Right? Okay. If I'm going to read Spear Cuts Through Water, you're going to read The Terror.
Okay.
Terror is so good, man. It's so good.
Is it your favorite book?
I mean, Malazan is my favorite thing ever. But Hyperion, I think, is number 2. And maybe Dungeon Crawler Carl is number 3. It's a very dude-heavy top 3, isn't it?
Wow.
I love
DCC, you like that much?
Which one?
DCC, you liked it that much?
It was a delight. I compare it to Dresden Files, but Dresden Files, I would say, is not self-aware. It's very, very like male gazy and awkward. So I could never recommend Dresden Files, although I love it. Dungeon Crawler Carl is like smart Dresden Files, I would say.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Cool.
And mental.
Interesting.
This is an experimental novel by someone called Renata Adler. I bounced off it twice though, but apparently it is a really good piece of experimental fiction. My bookmark was a Pokemon card.
As a very uncultured person, I don't. As soon as you describe it as experimental fiction, I'm like, yeah, check it.
Just removing Evie for making fun of experimental fiction there for a second. Okay, she can come
I'm
back.
okay with that.
You can come back now. Okay. Right. Yeah. Good. We're doing well.
Stay in the corner and think about what you said.
Pratchett, Lord and Ladies. It's not like you can't find this anywhere, but it's a nice. I love these little hardcover coffee kind of covers.
Can you actually? Do I have them?
Yeah,
if
that's
I don't
Evie
have
pile.
that, can you add that to the Evie pile?
I'm about to say, can you add that to the Evie pile? Because I will get it from Evie pile.
Okay. Okay, fine. In that case, if I have it, then I will send it to you, Anitha. Or I'll just...
Yeah, because he doesn't need to do like 2 shippings. I can get from you anytime.
As long as you guys are aware that the reason I'm doing this is because international postage is horrendous. If you're willing to shoulder that burden, then you can claim
I told you I'd pay for shipping.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just saying that it might be more than you expect. I don't. Or maybe you ship stuff.
Evie is the queen of international.
That's true.
She did this many times.
When I ship stuff to Japan, I put it on proper like cargo ship, big like square containers.
I would be, as an aside, related to that, I would be so paranoid that something would happen to the cargo ship, and then everything is gone.
Oh my god. Okay, new fear unlocked.
Basically what they say, so I'm just looking down the chat. Yeah, the additions are lovely, aren't they, Matt?
I'm also terrified of the water, like deep water where I can't see, touch the bottom. So the ocean terrifies me.
Your favorite book, Evie, your favorite book is called The Spear Cuts Through Water.
I know, but we're not in the water. We're not in the ocean.
Yeah. No, I get that. Thalassophobia is, I mean, I have the same thing with space. Sometimes I find that like space is just terrifying. And when people kind of say...
The idea of space, cool. But me being up in space, like, ugh.
Yeah. You know, I when I was a kid, I used to love water. I mean, I love beaches. That is my favorite vacation spot. I like sitting, on beach and reading. But after our marriage, we went to our honeymoon in Maldives. Then we went to snorkeling. I was terrified to get down, terrified. I was like, my husband was like, you are safe. You have all this equipment. Just get down, try. This is shallow water. I was like, no. I was like screaming on the top of
was that the Iliad? Sorry.
I'm gonna respond to Anitha because I was listening, Anitha. Just kidding. I had the same thing where my dad gave me one of those water depth thingies, and we were just in the water, and it said like it's 200 meters down to the ground or whatever the depth, and that terrified me. But it is the Iliad.
Which
it's the Fagles translation. Boo, chuck
Robert Fagles. No,
Fagles is the worst.
Actually, I want to try it as well, but I'll get it from library because it is a chunker. Chuck it.
It's a big floppy boy.
Yeah.
Emily Wilson translation superiority.
I do have Emily Wilson translation. I want to compare both of them. That one I'll get from library.
Right, guys, we're gonna return to manga for a second because there's 2 manga I have here, pretty much the full story.
Vinland Saga, I think, is one of them. I see.
Vinland Saga. I have the nice hardback.
Wow.
Vinland Saga.
You can get rid of them.
But
they're expensive.
They're beautiful, and I really like this story. This is the last thing I read before I moved to Kuwait a couple of years ago.
Option 4: leave one box with your parents.
Do you know what? They've allowed me a backpack, basically, so I reckon I could leave these. I think I'm going to make a Vinland Saga pile.
How many volumes are there?
I think I have 13. I think there's 13. They're actually quite light, but they're like 13 of these back to back is a proper arm's length kind of thing.
Yeah. Everyone's saying stay.
The water is lovely.
That's so nice. Yeah. I wanted to love it so much. I wanted to get down, but I was super scared. Sorry, David.
No, it's okay.
Also, Anitha, I just checked. I do have Lords and Ladies, so I will get Lords and Ladies to you. Excuse me.
How proximal are you guys to each other? Would that be international shipping twice?
She's in US, I'm in Canada.
Okay, that's basically the same thing.
I've been saying for the past almost 2 years now that I'm going to get a passport so that I can drive to Toronto and be a book mule for Anitha.
Mike is coming in July, so if David can get it to
No,
you before that, Mike can bring it to me because he was driving along with his son and his friend in July.
Evie, you're not so far from Canada.
I know, it's like a 10-hour drive
to
Toronto.
Okay.
She doesn't have a passport. She doesn't want to get it because she's scared that she has to come if she has passport.
Right.
Well, yeah.
Sorry, I have a lot of first edition Stephen Kings, but they're not old Stephen Kings. They're last 20, 25 years Stephen King. I love that book, by the way. Dr. Sleep is so good. But
okay. If it's one of your favorite books, then keep it.
Well, it's not one of my favorite books, but it's a good book.
Is it the one that you actually read, or did you read a different one?
I've read it.
Okay.
Anitha, decide.
It's a difficult one. As someone who left many books at...
I know, sorry to interrupt you. I immediately passed it to you, and then I'm going to change my mind, because I do have a first edition of Misery, which I should keep.
Misery! Keep Misery!
And can I tell you my favorite thing about this edition of Misery?
Put them in the maybe piles. We will... Oh my God. We will decide at the end.
This man was a teacher for a few years, and he had that mustache.
I would be very scared.
I mean, it was the 70s. It was the 70s.
Was it? I think it was
or
the
80s,
90s,
whatever.
Hang on. I think this is the first edition. I read this on a bus from Denver, Colorado to Albuquerque, New Mexico. I read it. I started it as the bus pulled away, and I finished it, this copy, as it pulled into the station.
It's amazing how much you remember about, like, how when you read it, which bus you took.
Well, so the person next to me on the bus kept trying to talk to me.
So it was your own misery, being on a bus, trying to have forced conversation.
Yeah. It's funny. I love my wife to death. She doesn't understand that if you're reading, you're not there. You're not there. And so it's that thing when someone talks to you and you go, "Stop it, I'm reading." And I'm probably a very nasty human being when I say that, but I think I need to keep this one.
Yes.
My sweet husband, he knows he will purposely turn the volume down on his video game, whatever, because he knows I'm reading. And he knows that I cannot concentrate if it's over a certain decibel. So.
I was just talking to my wife. Do you know what she's doing? So my channel is quite close to monetization, which is quite nice. And she was see what she's been doing in the States. She has literally not stopped playing my stuff repetitiously on the big TV in the house. She's
That's so sweet of her, actually.
Well, I messaged her and I'm like, "That's lovely. Like, thank you for thinking about me and all this stuff. And you don't have to do that." She's like, "Mate, I saw your book haul video. I know how much you're spending on books. If we can have a tiny bit of money back from this, we're doing it." I'm like, "Okay, fair enough."
Actually, she's still sweet, but she's smart.
She's amazing. She is the best human being I know. This one I will put over there. This one, I'm gonna toss it. Have you read this?
I haven't, but I saw it in your recommendations video.
It's so good. So good. I love teaching this book as well because it seems like a really simple, silly story.
It's short.
And it's about a shape-shifting henchman to the bad guy, and it literally it looks so silly, and it just builds in complexity all the way down until you have this really rich story at the end.
Okay, question. In both, in Kuwait or in Japan, they give you books to teach, or you get to decide which books to teach?
It's school by school. Both my new school and my old school. My new school initially are asking me to teach certain texts, but I think the idea is that once I get more established and that I can have the more freedom to choose. Bye, Matt. Dazzle misses you. Okay. Kuwait, no, we all had to go in a straight line because of I'll be honest, because of if you're not teaching the same thing, if different classes seem to be doing something different, sometimes parents would sometimes get a bit why are they doing this and we're doing this? So my old school just decided to cut that issue in half by having everyone teach the same thing in lockstep, which has some good things to it, like you can share resources, but also there's some negative aspects to that, which is that you don't have that freedom to choose something that you love. And one of the good things about being an English teacher is being able to just explode and talk about whatever you want to. That's part of the fun of being an English teacher. So I think I have to talk it, but it's good.
Well, So here's my argument, and I'm sure you can argue about any of these books, but that seems like a book that might be good for your kids when they get older. Like, and by older, I mean, in a few years, something you can read to them and something they can, read themselves at,
So, however, I imagine I'd be able to purchase this maybe 10 years down the line.
Okay, never mind. Chuck it.
Yeah, if it is.
I know, I totally agree with what you're saying, but I think it's not rare enough that I'd have to be worried about finding a copy.
Got it. Okay, chuck it.
Right, it's getting chucked. First edition of Insomnia. I have no idea how much these are worth. This is part of the issue. I bought this for £3 in a charity shop. But I also wonder, Stephen King books, like, when was Insomnia? Like 25 years ago? Is there
I've never even heard of that one. Although, to be fair, he's written like a,
I think his books are like even now available in like used bookstores.
Yeah.
Most of them.
These first editions.
Oh.
I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Like, is a first edition Stephen King, like a 30-year-old Stephen King book, is that worth anything or no?
I haven't heard of Insomnia. Hi, Alan. So I would assume that that's probably not worth as much as something like a first edition Misery, first edition Shining, or whatever.
I'm gonna toss it. Let's see this one. That one's better.
Yeah.
Alan, I need to show you. Hang on. Shall we show
that's
Alan?
That's not good enough to keep with that author photo.
That is my favorite.
That's worth it. That's worth it.
I aspire to have that eyebrow action.
I was reading, Aaron. I came to say hi, and these two pulled me in. So blame them.
Say no, Anitha. Say no.
Okay, just gonna put Vinland Saga here. Okay, shall we do this pile? This is a smorgasbord.
How many piles have we gotten through?
Do you know what? We're going faster than I thought. We're being very decisive. I appreciate this, guys. Okay, The Giver by Lois Lowry. I have to keep because I'm teaching it.
I remember
short.
reading that in like 4th or 5th grade. 4th grade? Yeah. And I remember
liked it. Did you like it?
4th grade me remembers liking it, yeah.
It just sort of ends. It does. It like the plot picks up and it builds to a climax and then it just ends. So I read it literally 2 days ago. I imagine that I would have loved it as a kid, but I get quite annoyed with it structurally.
I prefer Lois Lowry's Number the Stars over The Giver.
Yep. So. It's A Clockwork Orange, and it's orange.
What is that?
It's a Clockwork Orange.
Fine. Okay.
I've never actually read it nor seen the movie, so.
The movie's okay.
Yeah, many people like that book.
Heroes die.
Have you read
it? I would say if you're going to get rid of it, see if you can sell it to someone like on a Discord or whatever, because a lot of people love that cheesy cover.
And
many
people are like planning to read those books. I mean,
I saw someone in a TV. Sorry, Anitha, I cut you off. I know that a lot of people are starting to read this.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I might hang on to this and do some more research.
Okay.
Yotsuba! Look at her! Look, she's on a train and she's going swimming.
That's so cute.
And look, she's just standing in her living room doing some colouring.
I mean, life aspirations, if there are any, right?
I cannot overstate how much I want everyone to read Yotsuba. I mean, it's slice of life, silly, and to some extent nothingy, but it's also like a series that just has so much slice of life joy.
I mean, I could probably just answer the question myself, but are the English translations fairly accessible?
Yeah, I mean, the whole point about Yotsuba is that her like there's no translational issues because the translation is so easy to do. Read Yotsuba. Oh, I love it so much. Sorry.
How do I spell it? Yotsuba?
So it's called, in English, it's called Yotsuba To or Yotsuba and. He also wrote Azumanga Daioh. That's the other one he's kind of known for, but I haven't read it. I also think there's something quite sweet about a man kind of writing father-daughter relationships. I don't know. Often these kind of things are viewed as sort of feminine, and I like that I like dudes who lean into the joys of being a parent. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yotsaba exclamator, the greatest
one.
manga of all time, it seems.
It's so
Somebody's review.
It's so good. I've not read this. I'm not interested. I'm not interested in reading it, but it's not high up TBR.
Which
One
one?
of Sanderson.
Ah, okay.
Thoughts?
Evie, we are not big Sanderson fans, so you're asking the wrong people.
Evie. Hey, I can post this to you for free. This one.
No, chuck it.
I think you prefer.
I should probably at some point. I'm going to be fake puking, like gagging, and then I'm gonna initiate somebody who's real puking, and I'm gonna feel so bad. But I think
we're really not doing too badly, you know. Okay, I think I'm going to keep this one. It's a book of literary criticism on the Dark Tower, is my understanding.
Oh, cool.
That's quite cool,
Yeah,
isn't it?
definitely keep it.
Yeah. I remember being 16, and my advanced higher English teacher, she took us to the University of Glasgow on a day trip because we were studying different texts for a personal project. And she said, you know, go in for, I think I was doing Charles Dickens. So she was like, go to the Charles Dickens section. I'm like, why? I've read the book. She's like, no, David, you don't understand. People write books about books. And I was like, what? People write books about books? And she's like, yeah. And I remember 16-year-old David's brain just exploding. I'm like, people like sit down and write whole books about other books. And so these kinds of, like, I wish we had more of them in the fantasy space, like examining various. I know there was a Malazan one that was just released, but I think we need more of that.
I mean, it's not about a specific book, but like I have literary criticism from Michael Moorcock, Wizardry and Wild Romance. Wait, directions. Hold on. There you go, this one. Wizardry and Wild Romance, which I know is fairly renowned. And then Ursula K. Le Guin's Language of the Night, which just got a reissue.
So, I love Le Guin.
But essays on fantasy and science fiction. So
Evie loves this kind of stuff.
True.
Yeah. Right. Shakespeare we can chuck. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Alan, but yes.
Well, the thing is, you Google Julius. So in Kuwait, I can tell this story now, okay? I spoke about it at the end of Why Read Part 2. We have to censor books. I had to censor so much of Macbeth to teach it. And I'm like, why? If the kids Google Macbeth, they will immediately find exactly the thing that we blacked out. Surely by blacking it out, all we're doing is just pointing a finger toward it.
Neon sign pointing. Hey, look, this thing that I'm trying to avoid, just look it up some more.
Right, toss it. Tell you what, Shakespeare wrote some bad plays, man.
I'm very basic, and I've only read, like, Romeo and Juliet and Hamlet. And
I haven't read a single Shakespeare. Only thing we had in school was Merchant of Venice. Pound of Flesh isn't that only, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
See, when you dig into some of his stuff, like the stuff that no one talks about, you're like, what's going on here? Like, he wrote this one called The Taming of the Shrew. And maybe I'm sure someone in the comments might go, well, actually, no, you just don't understand its brilliance. The Taming of the Shrew is about a man who marries a woman who turns out to be a horrible human being. And the whole plot is them trying to get this woman to behave so that she can be happily married to her husband. It's just womanly control. The whole play. Henry VIII is just propaganda. So I found it quite interesting going through all of Shakespeare's works like a few years ago, because the good ones are sparkling and brilliant and the best things that have ever been written. But there's some meh stuff in there, man.
For Taming of the Shrew, just watch the superior version of it, which is 10 Things I Hate About You.
Ah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay. Also, Capricious Fox is recommending Way of the House Husband.
Okay. I'll add it on. Guys, if you see anything in the chat that I've missed, please let me know.
Sure. Thank you for the solidarity, Capricious Fox.
Hi, ADHD Reader. ADHD Reader did a great stream the other day with Noelle, by the way. I enjoyed coming in and having about 3% of battery. I was rolling the dice. Context and culture in language teaching. Claire Crouch is a brilliant scholar.
I think you're pretty secure, so I think you're good on that one. You can check it.
Oh, but
are you going to be referencing at any point for your teaching?
No, but it makes me feel clever to hold it in my hand, Evie.
Okay, it's only
when I hold it, I feel like my IQ's going up.
I mean, you already read Malazan, so...
True, okay. I'll keep this one, and I'll get rid of this one. I'll kind of
What was
split
that
them in
one?
half.
I assume another language thing.
Yeah, this one is about behavior in the classroom.
Just make
Kids
them
are
go
really
outside
cool.
and find their own switch, like my grandmother used to do.
Doing a literature review in health and social care. Do you know what? Someone who's doing a higher degree might value that more than me. Moving critical literacies forward. A new look at practice across context. You know, I love the car chase in this one, and it really ended on a cliffhanger. So,
Chuck it.
Chuck it. Actually, those kind of books I say in bookshops itself. Chuck it.
Well, yeah, they're probably going to go to. There's a few charity shops down the road, so I think I'll have a look at them all. I'll see if there are any friends that actually might want them, and then I'll just send them all to a donation pile. None of them are going to get thrown out, most likely.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay, you can watch me grunt around this room. Okay, I've got another first edition Stephen King, and it's one of Stephen King's worst novels, and I'm wondering if you know what it is.
Tommy Knockers.
No.
That's
it's about this thing. Ooh.
Then I don't know.
The only one I know that's bad is Tommy Knockers and Talisman. So.
The Eyes of the Dragon.
What? That's not supposed to be bad, though.
No, I hated it. Do you want this?
Can you add it to the Evie pile? I'll take it.
There you go. It's yours. These I can't show to you because these are not books. These are when you work in Japan, you get like a student list, and all your students are in here, and you put all your grades and attendance in your students' book. So these I can show you from a big distance. It's just like my old students. And so I like to hold on to these, so it's like I can remember. Oh yeah, that was that kid, and they were really funny. So I think I want to keep these.
Yeah, keep it
for memorabilia. Kind of. Is that weird? It's kind of weird.
It's cute.
Well, you're protecting their identity, so it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Blockade Billy. Stephen King novella. Chuck it.
Is that a baseball player?
This is a terrible book. But it's part of one of his short story collections, but it was also published as a little standalone.
Interesting. All right, chuck it.
Chuck it.
Aslan has a great question of how do students in Japan and Kuwait compare?
So I'll speak very broadly. Right, every child is different, and I'm about to paint with a very broad brush. That is probably not very fair because it's taking thousands and thousands of kids and condensing them into one kind of crystallization. So take this with a pinch of salt. Generally speaking, students in Japan I found are you've got to get them going, right? You've got to encourage them and show them that they can do it. There's a real terror of making mistakes there. You've got to be very careful with your critical feedback a lot of the time, I find, especially when it's with something like English and language, because if you ever imply that they're not doing well in a sense that they are hopeless, like the telling students a piece of critical feedback, they might interpret that as I'm useless, and just again very broad strokes. So being quite kind and encouraging and nurturing, I find is quite important in Japan, and kind of encouraging students that they can do it. In Kuwait, in the school I was in, it was much more you give kids kind of 50% criticism, 50% positivity, and they will just hear the positivity. They'll be, I'm doing great, and they won't address the targets. That was something that I found, at least in my last school in Kuwait. You really had to kind of sit them down and go, listen, no, you are great, but you do also need to work on this. So I think those are just kind of big cultural differences. They're really fun working in both. I had some really lovely final weeks in Kuwait.
Do you think that the way generally that the students are in how they learn is a reflection of the educational system itself? Because it sounds like the Kuwaiti educational system is very controlling. So it's just like, oh, we already know what we need to learn. So if I'm doing great, it's fine. Whereas
I think it depends on the culture also. I mean, I don't know much about Japan culture, but in Kuwait, in Asian, like Middle Eastern, but like even like parents or your neighbors are more critical of the kids. So they are used to the criticism. So when somebody gives you a compliment, they feel really good.
Yeah, and the parents at my old school in Kuwait, they really wanted their kids to succeed. So everything that the parents were doing is because they want their kids to become doctors and lawyers and things like that. And basically make sure they don't end up being teachers. No, but it was there's a bit more pressure, I think, from the parents, and I think what that led to. I mean, it's hard for me because it's hard for me to separate school culture from broader culture because I only experienced that one school. But I did find that students were very much like, what's on the test? What's going to be on the test? How do I need to study for the test to get 100%? Rather than, are my skills increasing? That was a challenge that I encountered at my last school. Encouraging students to recognize that the most important thing is that your skill set is growing and you are growing as a person rather than, I got an A in this last
It's your
test.
ABC. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Another first edition Stephen King. Hearts in Atlantis is a good book.
What is that?
Hearts of Atlantis.
Chuck it.
Anitha says chuck it.
I didn't even hear of that, so chuck it.
It's good. It's a bunch of novellas. This is an interesting one. 100 Japanese poets, one poem each. It's the worst cover. I mean, that's haunting.
That's
isn't it?
awful.
Can I replicate that face? Hang on.
It's like ghost or like some demon eyes.
Oh, that would make sense.
But I mean, basically, you could read this in 20 seconds. I think chuck it. I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah, chuck it.
Interesting. Aslan saying here. I'll just throw that up.
That's the same thing in India as well. That's why I could pick that.
Interesting.
Another short stories. Okay. I studied for my undergraduate dissertation. I studied English literature, and I got obsessed with the New York School of Poetry. I'm going to talk about it. Too bad you're here. So guys like John Ashbery.
This is the Frank O'Hara guy that you were talking
Frank
about.
O'Hara. So I have a bunch of books of literary criticism on Frank O'Hara. This author, Marjorie Perloff, she's like the foremost Frank O'Hara scholar. I'm not sure if she's still with us. But
Have
I think
you actually read the criticism though?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well,
I
mean, if you love Frank O'Hara and like, if Frank O'Hara is your John Keats, keep the criticism.
Gonna keep it right. Poems of Heaven and Hell in Ancient Mesopotamia.
If you are gonna chuck it, I'll take it.
Anitha, please also yell in if there's something that you want an Anitha pile, because we can do that.
Sure.
But yes,
I mean,
that's on the Evie pile. Assassination Classroom. I'm reading it. This is a Japanese copy. I can get this for $1 when I go back to Japan. Toss it.
Assassination Classroom. That sounds very bleak. And
that sounds
awful.
familiar. Actually, it is quite popular, I think.
I'm halfway through it and I'm struggling. I'm a bit burnt out with it. It's basically about a teacher who is like this cosmic entity alien who kind of descends from the heavens and tells a classroom of students, you've got to kill me by the end of the year or I'm going to blow up the earth. Which sounds very intriguing, having this cosmic horror teaching. And it is quite funny too, but it's too long. I'm halfway through and I really have to put it on my to-do list each day, like read a little bit of this manga.
When was this written? Do you know?
Fairly recently, I think, like the last 10 years.
Okay, so then basically it's the faculty.
Yeah, he is the teacher. So I want to finish it because I want to make a video on my channel about representation of teaching in Assassination Classroom. Because I really hate some of the things that Assassination Classroom does, how it represents teaching. So I do want to get through it to make that video, but I can't lie. It's not been my favorite manga. I feel a bit burnt out with it. As soon as you put a book on a to-do list, something's going wrong, huh?
True.
Yeah.
That's why I never read really pretty much anything on my TBR. As soon as I make a TBR, I'm just like, nope, gonna do everything I can to avoid whatever.
Then it becomes homework.
I don't think there was a specific author of the Mesopotamia book. I think it was just a collection of
Penguin Classics, translated by N.K. Sanders. I know that's back to front. Sandars.
Interesting.
Okay, let's move on some of these. Charles Bukowski, can't stand the man. Yep.
Evie, as you said, you will fake puke, I'll real puke if you.
I mean, Charles Bukowski is the Instagram poet of however long ago it was.
It's true.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. I just found this in a charity shop. Collected poems of an author called A.E. So here's something to know about me. I love old books, especially when they have people's writing in them. So this one just says, Rosamond, with love, Christmas 1943, Jack. And whenever I get something like that, I'm like, I don't like. I think this is going to go in my old books pile because I really Right, this is going to be a weird fact about me. I love going into, and the States is great for these, like these secondhand eclectic shops that are just full of stuff.
Where you just smell the mold.
Oh, I love them. So I went to one in Vermont, Brattleboro. Is that Vermont?
Yes.
There's a really good used shop. I don't know what you call it, secondhand shop in Brattleboro, and it's I went in there and I bought all the address books. There was a bunch of address books just sitting on a shelf, like little old ladies, like who just had their friends' contact details in. And I just thought they were the cutest thing ever, man. Like, so it'd just say things like, Agatha, bought me lunch once, great time. And there was like diaries and address books. My wife was raging at me. I bought like 10 of these things because I'm just so fascinated by like found real life, everyday stuff, especially when it's a bit older.
So what are your thoughts on Marcus Aurelius's Meditations?
Do you know, I read it like 10 years ago and I don't remember much about it. I remember it being quite repetitive. Have you read it?
No, I was hoping Alan was still here and he was going to rage.
I don't think so. He left.
He loves it, doesn't he?
No, he hates it. He hates
it. Why?
I mean,
it's just a man's diary.
He hasn't read it. I think he just hates.
I think he's read it.
That was a great Alan impression, by the way. I love Steven Erikson. It's very chunky. It's probably not worth the space when I have it on Kindle.
Chuck it.
Sorry, Steven.
Is that the series that is not... It's obviously not the main 10 books, but it's not the other one, Carcanus?
Yeah, it's Carcanus. It's book 2
of
Carcanus. Okay. It's Erikson rejects his editor and goes like hardcore philosophical, and there's a bit of plot in there. It's brilliant. It's so clever, but it's almost not a novel. It's almost just an excuse for Erikson to really kind of go hard on the themes he's been talking about, like for the previous 12 books.
So he's doing what's his name? Baker? F. Scott
Baker. Yeah.
Nope, F. Scott, not
R. Scott Baker, you mean?
Yes, R. Scott Baker. There you go.
Even more so than R. Scott Baker.
Really?
It's a brilliant book, but it's almost not a novel. It's just
a philosophical treatise.
Yeah.
ADHD reader. Seneca is the guy who wrote that essay about Claudius, right? After by the way, I love I Claudius. And then there is a sequel, Claudius the God. I hated it. But after entire book, there was an essay which this guy write about criticizing Claudius the God. I was like, I read this entire 500-page book in my slump. Why are you criticizing this guy? Like negating everything he has done. I hated that essay. And oh my god.
Seneca is the original Stoic, Anitha.
I'm just moving some of these forward.
No.
Okay. I'm going to toss Joe Abercrombie, not because I don't love him, but because he's written a lot of books and they're fairly easy to find, and I have some of them on Kindle. So I think these can find a nice new home with someone else. Have you guys read The Devils?
No.
I have not. I haven't read a single word of Abercrombie.
He's good.
I read the first trilogy.
Did you like it?
Not like as much as other people.
Some people love him.
Yeah, not as much as others. I'm okay with it. All right with it.
I think I need to keep this book. It's a book of poetry, and it's a book of blackout poetry.
Hey, there are images.
Huh.
So you guys know blackout poetry, right? You get a page of text, and then you color it in until only certain words are left, and that makes a poem.
Ah. That's very unique. I haven't seen anything like it.
And I won't lie, this book cost a pretty penny.
Or the opposite, you just throw a handful of those like magnetic word things at your fridge, and it's the opposite. You get your fridge poetry.
That's one step away from AI, though, isn't it? Just shunt it.
At least there's human involvement with throwing at the fridge.
I'm going to keep it. It's called the human mint.
Yeah. It looks like a very... Either you have very large hands, or that's a... I can't tell the size of the...
I think he has large hands. I heard during Read stream itself.
So it's a bit smaller compared to
okay.
I'm going to keep it. Do you know what? We're doing so much better. Poems of William Blake. I feel like you can find Blake everywhere, huh?
Yeah, you can.
Someone bought this for $23.
Why? Because I've actually been debating getting the complete poetry of William Blake, and it's got all of it, not just a selection, all of it.
I quite like the collected works of something or other. It's quite nice having like the full bibliography in your hand, isn't it?
It's true. That's why when I found, speaking of old books, when I found the poems of Dante Gabriel Rossetti, ooh, I lost my mind. So. Yeah.
There's something quite nice again about having I have one here actually, the collected poems of John Ashbery, who was Frank O'Hara's maid. And most people prefer Ashbery to O'Hara, but I think I'm going to keep this. Children of Ruin. I know everyone loves Tchaikovsky. I've had this for 3 years now, and it's never grabbed me.
Keep it. Keep it.
You love it.
I mean, it's Tchaikovsky. I love Tchaikovsky. I haven't read
it. Just add it to the Evie/Anitha pile, and Anitha will send it to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. It's the second or third book of the Children of Time.
Second. I'll be back in a minute. Okay.
That's fine. Something Happened by Joseph Heller. I feel like you can get Joseph Heller anywhere.
Yeah, chuck it.
Chuck it. I always make the sound effect every time. Right, we have another first edition Stephen King. It's from a Buick 8, and this is a terrible book. Mike's Book Reviews just put out a glowing review on it, I think. I didn't watch it, but I saw the thumbnail.
Just from the cover and the title, I feel like he's just rewriting, what's that?
Christine.
Yeah, Christine. There you
go. Christine, but worse. That's from a Buick 8. Chuck it.
Chuck it.
Vinland Saga, I'm going to keep for now, and I'll see what I can do with that later. Okay, Metro 2033. I've had this for a long time, and I should probably find a way to flip my camera, huh?
Oh no, I can see it.
It's the right way around?
It's the right way.
Okay.
That's not the vampire one, right?
No. So this is a really interesting series. I've not read it, but apparently it's a really interesting series. So what it is, well, first of all, most people found out about it through a series of video games of the same name, Metro 2033, Metro 2034. It's a post-apocalyptic story where the remnants of Russia, I think it's Russia, our nuclear war has happened, and they're all basically in the metro system. That's the only place that can survive the radiation. So all of humanity is kind of scattered throughout these almost like catacomb-like metro stations. But what is really fascinating about Metro 2033 is that he is basically, I almost tossed out my coffee. He's the author has kind of ignored the concept of canon, where he's basically said to anyone, if you want to write a novel in my Metro universe, go ahead. And so the Metro universe is just filled with about 30, 40 writers at this point. It's kind of like Warhammer, I guess, but more organic.
Oh, wow.
Toss it.
I'd say toss it, but that sounds fascinating.
It's a cool concept, but it's never grabbed me. Okay, we need to talk about Slam Dunk. This is the third manga that I have. It's in Japanese. This one new costs 900 yen, which is about $5 US, and I have 20 of them. Wow. So, they're not that.
I was gonna say, just because they're making the guy look like Billy Idol.
Try and see if anybody is interested in Discords. You can send it to them.
That's true.
I mean, if you haven't to post and do the shipping and all.
Yeah, anything that's gonna be chucked, I would say,
I'm gonna do the same thing that I did with Vinland Saga. Just kind of put it to one side for now, and then see where things are. Sylvia Plath. Tiny. Look at thin head.
Yeah, I would say if you're gonna go with Sylvia Plath, just get her collected works of poetry.
That's true.
I like
it's about 50 pages long, but yeah, I think collected poetry is the way to go.
You get your money's worth.
Have you guys read any Rob J. Hayes?
No,
I
but
have
I
not.
heard good
Oddly
things.
enough, I have been debating on that because of.
I've only read this one. I read it going from Glasgow to London. Just checking, none of my key information is on there. No.
I heard good things about his Never Die series. I don't know, remember the series name. This is a different one, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
this is like a pirate one.
This is supposed to be like Pirate Joe Abercrombie, and it was really good. There was
Didn't
one
it win the
scene,
SPFBO?
I think it did, There's one scene that I think was just very, very poorly handled. And I haven't seen any conversation about this book, but there's one assault scene that is just horrendously handled, in my opinion. And it's a page long, and yet it's all I can think about when I see this book.
Check it.
Check it.
Okay. I want to read more Rob J. Hayes, but I just want to tear that page out. Throw that page out. A collection of poetry I bought when I was traveling the Philippines. That's
The
kind of cool.
Second World.
Have you read it?
Yes.
Then check it. I mean,
But it's like travel memorabilia.
okay, take it.
It's very tiny.
Very tiny.
Wait, who writes it
Manga
though?
that I
The
don't
Second
read.
World? Is that the name of the collection?
It's called The Second World. It's by a guy called Rafael Antonio San Diego.
Oh, okay. Cool. Anyways, I'm just curious.
But what I've realized, from my travels, is that I don't keep stuff. I don't really have like objects from my travels. I think books kind of become the objects.
They're good way to remember things.
When I was studying abroad in the States, I left the room to go to the bathroom, and in my absence, I was assigned to be editor-in-chief of the literary journal of this college, called the Ampersand. And so this thing is awful. I was so annoyed, but I was also so what's the word? Timid that I couldn't say no. So
You left to go to the bathroom and somehow got signed up for something?
yeah,
I feel like there's more to the story.
So basically, right, it's because the English department was quite small and the English majors were quite small, and I was just there for a year. And I was a very eager student. I was very, very, I know the answer. So I went to go to the bathroom, and the professor said to the students, "Is there anyone willing to be editor-in-chief for the literary journal this year?" And apparently everyone went, "David."
You got voluntold.
And I kind of went, "Oh, okay." And it came out dreadfully. But I still have a copy, and I think I need to keep it for.
Yes, keep it because it brought immediately laughter to you.
This is another travel book. When I was in Montenegro, my friend bought this for me, so I have to keep it. It's called The Mountain Wreath. Apparently, it's Montenegrin poetry.
Interesting.
Yeah, he bought it for me. I feel bad for tossing it. Is anything happening in the chat, guys?
People are talking about Roadside Picnic.
Aslan and ADHD Reader are talking about Fashla, whether it is hilarious or not. That's it.
Right. Here's one for you. Toss a coin to your Witcher. I don't like this series.
No.
But I have the whole series, and I have it in a nice box.
Ask if anyone wants in Discord, because you have entire.
Yeah, and it's nice, and it's packaged, and it's But I wonder with something like that, is it going to cost more to ship it than it would be just to buy the copies?
True.
I'll keep it for now.
Although with the price of books nowadays, probably not.
Right, let's speed run some of this. Okay.
Yes, let's do this.
Okay. Frank O'Hara, I'm going to keep.
Yes.
A collection of slave narratives. This was something I studied in the States.
If you don't want to keep it, I will take it. Add it to the EV pile.
Cool. Collection of new American poets from 1945 to 1960. Kind of a compendium.
Check it, modernist crap. No, I know Sylvia Plath is part of that modern stuff.
Better than Don Quixote.
It's fine.
Enheduanna. Do you know about Enheduanna?
No.
She was the first living writer, or not the first living writer, the first writer who's recorded stuff we have. She was a Sumerian priestess, and she wrote kind of religious poems.
Then you should keep it, or Evie file. Evie wants it if you don't keep it.
I'm going to keep this one, but I'm going to recommend it to you.
No, dang it! Okay, it's okay. It's fine.
Enheduanna, or sometimes she goes by Inanna. She was a priestess to who? Nana, apparently the god was called. Anyway, I think it's really cool to know who the first writer was, or the
Yes,
first
Evie.
recorded writer. Yeah. American poetics, poets talking about poetry from the 20th century. I'm going to keep this. You're going to say chuck it, so I'm going to say keep it.
It's okay. You decide.
Oh, that's where I've heard the name before. Apparently, there's a like a fiction retelling of Inanna.
Oh,
That's really cool.
It's apparently
Yeah.
it's going to be a trilogy. Interesting.
I went down a big rabbit hole a few years
Aslan,
ago. Like,
Aslan, I'm reading City of Blades, book 2 in Divine Cities by Robert Jackson Bennett. I keep forgetting his middle name and last name. Okay, go
how
ahead.
is it?
I love it. I'm loving it. I mean, I am realizing I love slow world buildings. I think that's why I like Tchaikovsky. That's why I like Daniel Abraham, and I am loving this book as well.
Right. Okay. My friend wrote this book, so I'm going to keep it, but I'm also going to plug it very quickly. Her name's Emma Gray. She's a Scots writer, and she's written a few novels in Scots language. However, if you can read Trainspotting, you can read this.
Is it fiction?
It's fiction. This is a young adult novel, and she also has written a novel called, oh my goodness, sorry, Emma. Oh my goodness, that's so bad. Anyway, she's written an adult novel, and her stuff is brilliant, and it's in Scots. However, if you can read Trainspotting, then you can read this. So Emma Gray, plug my mate.
Be good to your mommy.
Be good to your mommy. Yeah, that's what it is.
Nice.
Yeah. She's great. Another one that another plug. Apparently, all my mates' books are here. I went to a writing workshop in Tokyo, and I was rubbish. But Diane Nagatomo has written a couple of books. I'm actually shouted out in the credits of this book, which was quite nice. Do you call them credits?
Acknowledgements.
Yeah. Yeah. So she's written a few novels, kind of set in that kind of Americans in Tokyo or expats in Tokyo, immigrants in Tokyo coming back to the States and trying to find their feet, because that's what she's experienced in her life. She's also an amazing academic, Diane. She's written a lot of stuff on like gender and teaching in Japan and things like that.
Nice. That's
Obviously,
interesting, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when are you writing a book, David?
Oh, I can't write. I can point out flaws in other people's writing. I'm that smug man who critiques but can't do it himself.
Story of my life.
Yeah, I was going to say, are you guys BookTube writers? They seem to be ubiquitous.
I have lots of ideas in my brain, but I don't do anything. I did see some Ariel by Sylvia Plath.
Yeah, it's a nice edition too.
Is that the collection or just the?
This is her most famous collection. So Sylvia Plath basically wrote a poem a day in the last like 3 weeks of her life before she took her own life, and a lot of them were in Ariel. And I studied this in high school, and a lot of the poems are still right there in my brain. Oh, let's swap.
If you're chucking it, I'll take it, Evie pile. If you're keeping it, that's okay.
No, you're right. You're right, Evie. I think having the collected works of Plath is something I should have. So I'm going to put that in the Evie/Anitha pile.
Aslan is asking, what are you both reading?
I'm reading.
I am reading Bee Speaker.
What are you reading?
Bee Speaker by Adrian Tchaikovsky.
Which is third book in his Dogs of War series.
So Children of Time, I thought it was fine. And then I'm seeing Tchaikovsky everywhere, and people I really admire seem to love Tchaikovsky.
It's okay. He has a he uses different writing styles in different books. If it doesn't work for you, you can pick something else and try his fantasy, like Guns of the Dawn is a standalone, or
Okay.
Shadows of the Apt is a 10-book series. You can try either of them.
Guns of the Dawn, I'll do that one. And then I'm seeing Shroud everywhere as well.
Yeah, that's a recent release.
Okay. Tell you what, I hate to do this because it's self-pub, but I'm going to do it anyway because he doesn't need my support. One self-pub novel that I just found dreary. Cradle.
Sorry.
I haven't read, but I had many people love it, and at the same time, I think some people hate it as well. Brian from Belltube hated it.
Brian's a man of taste. Shock. One more plug. That same writing group in Tokyo, This guy Brandon Lindsay put out this book called Shore Seeker,
Oh, cool.
which is a self-pub fantasy, and I haven't read it, but I did read some chapters in the workshop itself, and he seems like a talented guy. It's kind of noble bright. It's very positive, emancipatory fantasy. It's not very grim, but I'm gonna keep this. I need to read it. I'm gonna toss out a friend's book.
ADHD reader is asking, has anybody read Shroud by Tchaikovsky? And David, this is to you too. Some of us in Alan's Discord, we are doing a buddy read for Shroud next month. If any of you wants to join.
It's not a buddy read, it's a book club.
Book
so you just
club.
read it during the month. You
We're
don't
not
get to read it-
buddies. Don't call us buddies. We're just in a club together.
So ADHD reader, none of us read. At least people who are like fans of Tchaikovsky from Alan's Discord, none of us read Shroud yet. So we're all reading in July.
Sorry, ignore me. Give me 2 seconds.
No, you're good.
I'm getting some of these a bit closer. We're gonna do this, I think. I'm gonna have to get a new box. By the same author who wrote Yotsuba as a manga daio. The language is harder, so I haven't been able. It was too far above me, and I can get this for $1 in Japan, so it's gonna get chucked.
Okay.
In fact, all of these manga, they're very cute looking, but there's a shop in Japan called Book Off, and in Book Off they sell used manga, and it's literally $1 per volume, as opposed to the US and the UK where it's like flipping $15 a volume. So I think these can all get
Yay,
chucked.
capitalism.
See, my problem with manga is not even the pricing, it's the space, because there
Yes,
are so
true.
many volumes.
True, totally agree with that. And that's why I have Vinland Saga and Slam Dunk just kind of spread out before me. And then you have to move across the world. Speaking of Japan, I think I'm going to keep this one. Do you guys know what the Manyoshu is?
I feel like I've heard of it.
No.
Oh, Aslan, just you wait. We're going to come back to this in a second because I've already talked a lot about it. So the Manyoshu, so the Japanese is 10,000 leaves. There is, as far as I'm aware, there is no English full translation of the Manyoshu because the Manyoshu is literally 10,000 poems from a certain period of time, I believe. From the 8th century and before. And so it's 10,000 poems sort of bundled together. And the best we have in English currently is this volume, which has about 1,000 of the
Is
10,000.
it all like one author, or is it like a collected over time?
I think it's almost like a Bible sort of thing where it's like many, many, many different authors just stitched together. I'm going to keep this. Also, it cost me, do you know what? It cost me 700 yen. That's not that bad. That's like $4.
That's not bad.
I'll keep it for now. Here's an interesting one. You're going to say chuck it, and I don't disagree. The Norton Anthology of Poetry.
They're gatekeeping poetry. Chuck it.
How about gatekeeping poetry?
They only keep only the big names are in there.
Or like the canon?
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. It's a nice copy. And it's expensive. I might put it to one side and see if I can give it to someone I know rather than just kind of giving it. Aslan, I think you're far away, aren't you? I want it. Aslan, my favorite manga. Okay, for the third time. But that's fine. I love to talk about it. Yotsubato. I'm not very well read in manga whatsoever. It's a sweet little girl. It's her slice of life as she and her dad sort of navigate Japan. I actually made a video about it on my channel. It was like my 8th video on my channel. I'm not a big manga guy, but I love. Oh, she's so cute. She's so cute. Look at her.
Artwork is definitely very pretty, very cute.
Yeah, it's just a really positive affirmation of fatherhood, and I wish we had more of that, just like a father enjoying being a father. We don't really have that very much, like fathers enjoying it.
So like kids, can I recommend it to my friends to read it to their kids?
Maybe, but it's more like parents will read it and resonate with it, and it will make them laugh so hard. And I read it before I had kids, I should say, but I read it before having kids and enjoyed it immensely. But I think because this little character Yotsuba, she just has so much joy to her, like exploration and kind of feistiness, and it's such a positive. In a world of R. Scott Baker and Joe Abercrombie, there's something quite nice about having a little person just enjoying their life. Do you know what I mean?
True.
Yeah.
I have a quick question about like general question about manga.
Okay.
Manga. Is it generally the same person who writes the dialogue also does the artwork? Because I know in like Western graphic novels, it's not always the same one person doing the artwork and the story / dialogue.
My understanding is it's normally the same person. I think sometimes the artwork, when they get big enough, they have teams like to help them kind of fill in the details a little bit. But you know what? I'm not entirely sure about that.
Aslan
ADHD,
is trying to get you to read Spy Family.
yeah,
if you haven't read it yet.
ADHD reader is recommending you to read Battle Angel.
Yeah.
That Alita.
When there was something else to read, Basara
And Spy Family.
and Spy Family. I have a Google Doc that I need to get to be honest. There's lots and lots of stuff that I really want to. My manga knowledge is paltry. I've read a few things, but you have these people who've read like other people read fantasy. So right, gonna blast through this pile.
Yes.
Okay.
Paulo Freire, Brazilian guy. It's the most famous teaching book ever. It's called Pedagogy of the Oppressed. It's about teaching as emancipation, which is lovely. I've read it, so toss.
Chuck it.
Chuck it. Dan Simmons. This is quite hard to find. It's a collection of his short novellas. I think I'll keep it because it is quite hard to find.
God, that's a bad cover.
It's a terrible cover.
That is so weird.
Yeah.
Feels like an R.L. Stein cover.
Is it better or worse than Stephen King's Face?
Better?
This is a poet called Richard Howard, who's somewhere in the States. It's 60 years old, this book, and it's modernist trash, but I think I'll keep it.
Okay.
It belonged to the library of the Department of English at Ohio State University until I bought it in Boston.
So it doesn't weigh much as well.
The Ohio State. Sorry.
The Wolf Factory by Ian M. Banks. This is not a first edition, but it's like a second or third edition. I think it's quite nice. It's quite small.
If it's a favorite, go for it. I have no skin in the game.
My friend Anne gave me this. She's Finnish, and she gave me a copy of Finnish poems. So I think I have to keep that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Be a bit rude to throw it away.
Yumi Tamura is so underrated, and her sci-fi manga Seven Seas never got translated to the West.
Frank O'Hara. I'm going to keep the criticism of Frank O'Hara. The Master and the Margarita. Have you guys read this?
So. I want to read it because Catherine Arden, that's like her favorite book of all time. Catherine Arden writes the Winter Night trilogy, starting with The Bear and the Nightingale, and it's one of my favorite series. And I have a brain block with Russian literature, apparently. So,
do you have a copy?
I'm sorry?
Do you have a copy?
No, I don't.
I bought the only reason I want to keep this one is I bought it in St. Petersburg, and I quite like the smarmy thing of buying a Russian book in Russia. But it's an English translation. Do you want it in the Evie pile?
Sure.
Yep. Right. Samuel Pepys. Do we know Samuel Pepys, guys?
I know of the name, and he looks just so smug and smarmy. Chuck it.
Well,
and with a name like Peeps, spelled like that, you just...
What, you want it spelled like the candy?
Yeah.
What's
I
this?
mean, that'd probably be worse, though.
Airport transfer ticket from Milan. Apparently I got this in Milan. Samuel Pepys wrote diaries from like 1660 to 1668. Every day he wrote a diary. And so this is 1660 diaries. So it's kind of like... Do you
have the other volumes?
No, because I wanted to read this one before I bought the next one.
Okay, well then keep that.
It's also Samuel Pepys.
You what? Sorry?
It's online. Like his diaries are freely... It's like Shakespeare, you know?
Oh, it's in... Okay,
then check it.
So, like, it's Pepys. Pepys is an interesting guy because he lived during some really interesting times, like the Great Fire of London. Most of his days was just like, I woke up. He was also like a notorious philanderer. So, like, I woke up, I had breakfast, I went to my job, I cheated on my wife, I went home. That's basically what his diaries are. I mean, he was very frank. But I think saying he looks smug is probably about right.
I mean, if you can't be honest with other people, at least be honest with yourself in your diary.
C.S. Friedman's Black Sun Rising.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes. I want to read that. If you're not keeping it EV pile, but keep it.
I'm just checking if it's a first edition or not. It looks
like a first edition. and I
See,
know it's very
they are,
hard to find.
yeah, they're very hard to find. Keep them
Right.
actually.
Okay. Sorry, Anitha.
It's okay. It's okay. I want you to keep it.
Talking about my professor from uni who volunteered me to be the editor-in-chief. He has poetry as well. His name's Gary Lysing.
Oh,
So-
cool. Keep it.
It's funny that
Yeah.
people volunteer you to do stuff.
I'm still raging at him, but
What
I-
I'm learning is no, chuck it. What I'm learning is we can volunteer David to some random stuff. From now onwards, we'll volunteer him to all our read-longs and
I genuinely, I was saying this to, who was I saying this to? I can't remember. I think it was Joanna. I had a real problem all the way until like, I mean, I still have it a bit, but far more so as a kid. I just couldn't say no to stuff.
Same.
I
couldn't
can't
say
say no.
Yeah,
Can
I couldn't
I-
say no. And I would genuinely, like, I used to be a volunteer at this kids club, this after-school kids club. And I didn't enjoy it very much. But I started doing it when I was 16. And every year, the person would, at the end of the academic year, would be like, oh, you cool to keep continuing and helping us out next year. And every year I'd be like, yes. And so for like 7 years of my life, I was a leader at this kids club. And you know what? It was nice. And it kind of,
7 years.
but like my Monday nights for about 7 years were helping out these primary school kids, these elementary school kids.
Although
And
to be fair, do you think
I
that
think so.
might have been like the start of like your wanting to teach?
Yeah, I think that is part of it. But I mean, they were elementary, and I teach high school, so. But
Either
yeah,
way,
no-
you had to teach.
Yeah.
I think you got something out of it, so that's good.
True. Desperation by Stephen King. It's first edition. I'm going to chuck this one, and I'm going to keep this first edition of Dolores Claiborne because it's a bit smaller
Yeah.
and it's
Is
more
that the
interesting.
nurse
book.
one?
Say again.
Is that the nurse one where she's a nurse?
She's
It's
a
not.
maid, I think, or something.
Oh,
No,
maid.
she is a nurse, isn't she? I read it a few years ago. It was okay. It's a better picture of Stephen King in this one, isn't it?
It's true. I mean,
Yeah,
he just
That is
shaved
one
off
of the
his
popular
mustache.
ones, and he looks sleek.
Sleek. Yeah, we'll keep this one. Okay. Oh man, we're gonna get through this. Discourse analysis is theory and method for my master's degree.
Chuck it.
Chuck it.
I love how
Discourse. No, that was
Chuck it.
Answers
that's up to
Yeah.
you. You're the fan. We don't care.
Yeah, it's true.
The thing is with Esselmons is his stuff is harder to find in Ericsson because Ericsson. I mean, it's a bit of a sore spot, isn't it? Because Ericsson is so much more popular than Esselmon. But-
Even if you don't want, someone in Discord will take it because
True.
many people are fans.
Yeah. So it's hard. I would hate to get rid of it and then struggle to find it again. And I have a first edition. Do you know the controversy of this cover? Do you guys know about this?
The AI thing, yeah.
People strongly suspect it's an AI generated cover.
But it's published long back, right?
No, only 2 years ago.
Oh,
So this was a huge controversy because there's a couple of things that make it look very AI. So like see the compass down there and all this stuff on the table looks very awkward.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you notice that the hooded bloke, is he facing away from the camera or towards the camera?
Ah.
Very hard to tell. And it's the kind of thing you'd think maybe an artist would be able to fix or notice.
Yeah.
I've looked at this cover for hours, well, not hours, minutes, and I've never been
And-
able to figure out which way
And
he's facing.
also the way that the cloak, the hood is sitting, it doesn't look like it's sitting naturally.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's, the
And-
folds. There is a difference when artist draws it.
I suspect it is. Yeah, I'm going to keep this. But it's. I remember speaking to. I was teaching in a school in Scotland, just on a placement. I remember having this discussion with a school librarian, and this librarian was so cool. The coolest people in the world are school librarians, and the fact that school librarians around the world are getting fired, and what's happening in where I am right now in Scotland is that the librarians are getting. Some of them are getting let go, and then one librarian is responsible for like 3 schools, which is horrible. But this librarian was so amazing, and she's like, David, no one is talking about AI. This time next year, AI is going to be everywhere, and she wasn't wrong. I'm going to keep these. She was
Everyone
great. That
listen to
librarian.
your librarians, they're very wise people.
Yeah, and they're paid buttons, at least in the UK, and people think librarians are just people who.
You know, the US is pulling all funding for libraries and museums. So.
It's great. The UK isn't that far behind.
Ugh.
I
Stupid
think
governments.
it's the problem everywhere. It's the times.
What's that very big old one right in front of you?
Yeah, it's a prop. I need to use it in a thumbnail sometime. So my grandmother gave this to me. My grandmother who passed away last year. So I probably can't chuck it just because all it is though, it's not even a book. It's a Greek and English lexicon.
Oh, that is really cool.
Isn't it? And it's tiny. I need to be careful with it. You see that? How small it is. It's another old book that I can't get rid of. Not that I would. Okay, and this is how hoity-toity my family is. My dad's side is quite well off. They have their own family tree of who originally owned this. They wrote this out for me. The family tree of who originally bought this book. All the way down to me.
Anitha, are you saying chuck it?
No, I said you can check it.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say what?
So sorry, tell a lie. It wasn't from my grandmother. It was from my grandmother's siblings, or siblings-in-law.
Relative.
I tried to read Greek and teach myself Greek. Where's Alan when you need him? He would be very impressed with this. Although I failed. I tried to teach myself ancient Greek in high school and failed miserably. But it was a fun little project. But the really cool thing about this, let me see if I can find it. Yeah, good. I have to be so careful here. Someone used a plant as a bookmark. Do you see that?
Oh God, yeah.
Or
branch.
they just forgot their pressing.
Yeah, well, it's some kind of pressing, isn't it? I have to be so careful with this. So inside
that is the ideal book to use for plant pressing.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I'm so scared of branching this off. And let me find the publication date of this. I just want to make sure that I don't hurt this plant. So I'm going to keep this. I have no idea how I'm going to get it to Japan because it's heavy. Look at the marbled cover of it.
That's cool.
Isn't it?
I know that would take up probably the entirety of a backpack, but maybe it can go with a backpack for your parents.
Yeah,
okay. What can you guys do? Can you guys do Roman numerals?
Yes.
What's MDCC? C.
M is something
D,
like
how many C's?
MDCCC LXIX.
All right, so that's 18 LXIX.
1869.
MDCC LX.
I think it's 1869. So it's quite old.
1869. Yep.
I just threw it about the place, and you can see the signature of my great grandmother who originally bought it here. So
it's cool. 17, I think.
1870, something like that.
No, if it's IX, it's 69. So it's
1869.
Yep.
1879. 150 years old.
God.
By the way,
I'm gonna keep it. I don't know how. Like it's about 4 kilos. It feels like.
Put it in the see if your parents will try and convince your parents to do a second backpack just for that.
I don't think they would make me toss this kind of stuff. They're good people. They're sensible people. Right, this is all yearbooks and stuff. So I'm just going to keep all of this. I'm not even going to show it to you. It's just high school yearbooks. I became, right, this is really weird. This is going to clue you in on what a eccentric human being I am. I got very intrigued by the country of Tuvalu a few years ago. Do you know about Tuvalu? Tuvalu.
Yeah, that's South Pacific, right?
Yeah, Pacific Islands, right? Towards the east of Australia and New Zealand.
I got fascinated by the fact that this country was in the middle of nowhere with like 8,000 people. So I went on like a big deep dive of Tuvalu. And there's no books about Tuvalu because it's basically the size of a village. But the one book I could find was the Cultural Impacts of Climate Change by Laura K. Corlew. And it's all about climate change's impact on Tuvalu from a sociological perspective. So it's just someone's PhD that I bought online. I think I'm the only person who bought it.
I think it's not surprising that's the book focused on that island because that island faces so many issues with climate.
Gotta keep it. Yeah, so many issues. And like I've heard some of the strategies they have to try and save. So as Anitha says, if people don't know, sea levels are rising. I think the maximum elevation of Tuvalu is like 5 meters.
Wow.
It's first on the chopping block when the seas come up. So I know China has offered to put in some barriers to help save it. But I mean, I think China has also said if you do that, you've got to recognize that Taiwan is not a country. So it's a bit awkward. I know that there's potential plans for like digitally photographing Tuvalu. So you kind of have like a computerized, digitized version of Tuvalu. And then the other alternative, I've heard someone say that they're considering moving the country of Tuvalu to a small piece of land in Australia, like literally moving the citizens and creating a new Tuvalu somewhere in Australia. It's weird, and it's the first kind of major demonstration of what climate change is going to do in the next 40, 50 years.
Aslan, to be fair, everyone is dealing with issues with climate change. So everyone.
I mean, yes, of course, I agree because north of the India there was Himalayas melting, and entire south and entire this below is like ocean. So yeah,
India is really
Everyone's dealing with it.
India has a diversity of landscape as well. So yeah, as you say, they're going to be feeling it.
Yeah.
Hi, Derry.
Hi, Derry. Derry,
sent you a
you're
message,
giving me
Derry.
hope for moving to Japan because we're going to be on the same time zone. So whenever I see Derry, I'm like, okay, it's possible. I'm just catching up on the chat. I realize I haven't looked at it in ages. A Little Life is one of those books I've never heard of. I'm scared of it, and I'm not I think there's nothing wrong with trigger warnings or anything like that. I'm not saying that, but trigger warnings have never been something that I personally, being very fortunate, have had to consider very much, with one or two exceptions that I won't get into. But every time someone talks about A Little Life and all the trigger warnings in there, I'm like, I just don't think that sounds like a good time.
I think, I mean, I haven't read it obviously, but people did not like that. They felt like taken advantage of their emotions, taken advantage of. I
Okay.
think
There was
many
a
people call it,
manipulation of emotion.
yeah, many people call it like torture porn or something like that.
No, I am not interested. Ian M. Banks, I've got one culture novel left. I will read it. I go back and forth on Ian M. Banks. I think when he's brilliant, he's brilliant. I don't know if you guys have read any Ian M. Banks.
No.
Sci-fi, it's a utopian sci-fi setting. So, in a world of grimdark and stuff, this is, humanity and AI has made it. And each of the novels are standalones. There's one called Use of Weapons. That is one of the best books I've ever read. I have a first edition of it. I found it in a bookshop in Belfast, and it was being sold for like £4, like $6. And it's one of these things where it's like, do you go up to the store owner and let him know?
Like, do you realize what you have?
This thing is worth 30 times the cost, and I didn't. I just bought it. And I also got a first edition of some Malazan books in that shop. So the guy clearly didn't know what he was doing, or he was very kind. But I want to keep this because I want to finish it. But maybe Kindle. Actually, Kindle is probably better. Huh? It's quite a big book.
Some of the used bookstore owners are actually very kind, and they really genuinely want people to read and make use of their books. They aren't bought into all this capitalism yet, like at least most of them.
Yeah, I wonder. I did almost say to him, like, "Are you aware?" But then I didn't want him to take it back and then add a 0. So I was quite cowardly. Dr. Nerdcraft, should I keep the Hydrogen Sonata or no? If you tell me to keep it, I'll keep it, mate. What I'm not keeping. How do we feel about The Expanse?
Haven't read it, but love Daniel Ibrahim. He's like my favorite author.
I haven't read it either. I just have the first book.
I've read the first 2, and they were fine. They were good. But I'm not chomping at the bit to get to number 3.
Then chuck it.
Chuck it. I can Kindle it if I really want to read it later on. Are you guys okay for time?
I'm good.
Yeah. I've got another old one. Now, there's a suspicious stain on the front. However,
Sherlock Holmes?
It's Sherlock Holmes novellas, or novels. They're kind of in the middle, aren't they? In one big bind up. It is...
They're widely available. Check it.
But it's old. It's got a signature in it. People used to write their names in books. Why don't we do that anymore?
I write in books all the time. I just don't write my name. So.
First edition in one volume, 1929. So it's pushing 100 years old. But it is, as Anitha said, you can find Sherlock Holmes everywhere.
Yeah, I'd say check it.
Yeah. First option, chuck it. Second option, backpack.
I think if it looked nicer, if the cover was nicer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ben, tell me, should I keep book 3? I will if you tell me to. I was very interested in what do you call it? Text that play with the formatting.
I know. Chuck it.
Okay.
Sorry.
I appreciate you guys.
Matt's forging signatures all over the place.
I've not read any John Gwynne.
Chuck it.
Really?
I think they're available at least as of now. If you want to get them later when you read them.
Do you know? It looks like something my father might enjoy, so I think I'm going to put it over here.
Okay.
Right, guys, talk to the chat while I summon some more piles.
Okay.
Sherlock Holmes is so
overrated.
Summon some more piles since I have a medical condition.
What's ergodic literature? I'm too dumb to understand what that word means. I'm looking it up.
Ergodic literature is like ergodic literature is like House of Leaves. Like yeah.
Speaking of House of Leaves, Daniel, whatever his name is, apparently he's coming out with a new book.
It's called Tom's Crossing.
Yes.
Apparently
and
it's
about apparently horses plays a major role in it. And I'm like, well, you got me. So
Are you a horse person?
I'm a horse person.
Yes.
I'm a horse girl.
Benny saying book 3 is his least personal favorite and is a dud for many. It has a bunch of new POVs that tend not to be very engaging for most people. Book 3 of Expanse.
But if I get through it, then I've got, you know what I mean? I might continue the series, I guess, is also what you're saying.
Yeah. I think from book 5 it is very top notch.
I'll put it over here for now.
Okay.
Philip Chase and Joanna's favorite series.
Keep it. I love Grace of Kings.
People are all over the place about this series, it feels like.
Philip and Joanna are wrong. Grace of Kings is amazing.
I'll keep it if you tell me to.
Yes, I think you would love it.
Knowing so very little about machines or something.
Not knowing enough about your taste to really actually gauge that, confidently, but I want you to love it.
Okay. Kate's Jawbone. Do you know about this book?
Yes.
That's the puzzle one.
Yeah.
Have you solved it?
Only 3 people have, but I haven't even opened it. What I want to do, I want to get one of those cork boards. And
keep it.
Do the thing.
We all booktubers should read at the same time and get our own wall puzzle, everything, all clues on our walls and solve it together at least.
David, I need to know.
That could be a fun little project where 3 or 4 different booktubers kind of vlog their experience with this and then kind of stitch it together into one big video.
Yeah, that will be
cool.
I
like that idea.
Pete really wanted to read it last year, but I'm not sure if he finished it or if he started it. I
don't think he even started it. David, I need to know.
Yes.
Have you seen It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
Oh, I went through a binging session of Always Sunny.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Pepe Sylvia. That's all I'll say.
Okay. I can't remember who Pepe Sylvia is.
It's when Charlie is like, it's the mail. It's always going to Pepe Sylvia. And he's got the cork board and he's he's got everything going around.
Yeah.
Because they're in the mail room. It's great.
Ben, I already tried. He's willing to give Guns of the Dawn a shot.
It's not that I didn't like Children of Time. I just, it did not remotely crack into my top 5 sci-fi novels. And everyone was like, it's this brilliant masterpiece. And I was like, it's good. I liked it. But yeah.
That's
hey, man.
As someone who has not read it yet and who also loves Tchaikovsky, I have a feeling the part of that, oh my god, this is so amazing, is that Tchaikovsky made people who hate spiders change their mind about spiders. And I think that's part of it.
Fighter of the Night, man.
Oh!
Right, okay.
Danny.
Another literary criticism book. It's called Dance of the Intellect, Studies in the Poetry of the Pound Tradition. I'll toss that one. I
was restraining myself from rolling my eyes back in my head.
I wish Alan were still here because he recognizes my pretentiousness, and I feel like showing these books up one by one would probably give him an aneurysm. Speaking of,
Evie, send Alan a link if he's free.
Yeah. Shakespeare and Violence, a treatise on how violence is handled in Shakespeare.
Have you read it?
No.
You can just read Shakespeare and make your own opinions.
Yeah, it's also yeah. How much was it? I got this in Japan for 500 yen. That's $3. No, it's not worth. It's not worth transporting across the world.
Yes, Ben, I tried to sell Shadows of the App too. He wasn't dismissive of it.
I'm not dismissive of anything except Don Quixote. Harry Turtledove. Have you guys heard of Harry Turtledove? Apparently he's very good. The cover is
I've
terrible.
heard of him, but I've never actually heard of people even reading him.
He seems to be like, what was the other author we talked about before? Matthew Thingamy.
Matthew Wooding Stover?
Yeah.
Stover?
Yeah. Like very popular with a very niche audience.
He seems like, I assume he wrote in the 80s.
Yeah, Luke's 80s, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Shall I just crack it open and read a sentence and see how we feel?
Sure.
2000. You wrote this in 1999. Right, okay.
Really?
Right. Anitha, say stop.
Stop.
Evie, say stop.
Stop.
The Algarvians made little reply to the eggs raining down.
Chuck it for that alone. Chuck it.
I was thinking, keep it for that sentence alone. The Algarvians made little reply to the eggs raining down. Evie, I'm the opposite. What a great sentence. The eggs raining down. Hang on, Ben says, Turtledove is one of those authors I always see a lot of in any used bookstore, and I've never seen a single person read in the current online. Do you know what? I'm going to keep it. I'll give it a go.
You could be the first one. Maybe you could make him famous in BookTube.
He's my KJ Parker. Right, James Merrill is a poet, modernist, massive. This is probably quite expensive. I'm going to put it to one side because I'd hate to just donate this. I think that if I'm not going to keep it, it needs a good home. George R. R. Martin's Dream Songs, one of his short story volumes.
Because that, especially a hardcover, that's probably really hard to find.
Yeah.
Cool. We need to toss some books, guys. China Mabel's October. It's his history of the Russian Revolution.
Chuck it.
Yeah.
Sorry, Pete, if you're going to be watching this later.
The Shadow of the Wind.
Chuck it. You can find it anywhere.
Yep.
I like that book, but yes.
Manga, toss. This is all slam dunk, forgive me. Have you guys read The Outsiders? These are the books I was clearly teaching at some point.
I read it in
I do
school.
want to read. There is a movie of that too, right?
The Outsiders? Yep.
Did you say you want to read it, Anitha?
Yes. Evie Pyle.
Lord of the Flies. You can find it
Evie
anywhere.
Pyle.
Oh, you want it?
No, you can toss it.
But do you want it?
But I can get it anywhere, I think.
Okay.
You can get
Probably not worth the
Outsiders
shipping.
anywhere too. So.
Yeah, I think
Not
so.
worth the shipping, is it? Again, that professor from university, poetry.
You get it.
He's a good poet. Bag of Bones.
Chuck it.
Chuck it.
I mean, you've got that entire box filled up. I think you're doing good.
Yeah.
And I'll show you what I'm keeping at the end. I would say it's about right. It's about 60-40. Which is, it could have been a lot worse.
Or 60-40 chucking.
All Quiet on the Western Front.
Chuck it. You can find it anywhere.
Yep. Summer of Night by Dan Simmons.
That's actually a really neat cover.
Apparently it's kind of like Stephen King, like It sort of a thing. It's like his It. It's quite small. It's quite compact. I'll keep it.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is a tricky one. Forge of Darkness by Erickson. Hardcover.
You were keeping the other one though, so I would keep. If you're gonna keep that other one, keep this one.
No,
I
he
tossed the other one.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
The AI cover one. I thought you were keeping that.
No,
No,
that
no.
is Ian Esselmont. This is Fall of Light. This is.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Right, I'm going to push this box back a bit. Do you guys know Italo Calvino?
I do. I know of him. I've not read any.
Oh, he's good. My sister loves Italo Calvino. On you.
If on a winter's night, a traveler and
Ben, that Jane box is not for like packing. They're all chucking. Like he's going to like donate like small chunks.
So I'll probably put these into a bunch of plastic bags and just take them to a charity shop. I'm going to find out what I want to give to people. So yeah, Calvino stylistically just does what he likes, or did what he likes. I think he's passed. I got this in Kochi actually. There we go.
Hey, Marianne.
Kochi books. There we go.
oh, cool.
Ooh, which
This is
Kochi? Like India Kochi?
Yeah.
Ah, nice.
So I just went to a bookshop and found this. He tells a story through tarot cards. That's the premise of. So it's very interpretable because sometimes sequences are told via tarot cards. That's kind of cool.
So
Interesting.
okay, so I'm gonna have this is my delusion of project coming through. Go ahead and put it in the Evie pile if you're not gonna keep it.
He's keeping it. Keep it.
I'm going to keep it.
Oh, you are? Okay, never mind. Well, send me Anitha, write it down. Write that down because
Yes, ma'am. Sorry.
there is a writer and I can't remember the name of her, but the book is called Lotteria. And basically, she does a similar thing if she uses tarot cards to write a story.
Really? What is this book, David?
This one is called The Castle of Crossed Destinies.
Huh.
But if on a winter's night a traveler is also wonderful. Marianne, how's Sweden? I hear it's expensive.
Oh,
you're already there. Oh, nice. How is it?
I tell you what, though, it's gonna be light where she is. It's 10 o'clock here in Scotland and it's still light outside, and Sweden is further north than Scotland, so it'll still be daylight. Slam Dunk. I think I have to get rid of Slam Dunk. I think it's probably more expensive to take these than it is just to buy them again.
Yes.
Oh, right, okay. I'm gonna get this massive pile here over.
so is Slam Dunk? Does it involve basketball?
It's like Haikyuu 20 years ago.
I don't know what Haikyuu. I mean, I know what Haikyuu is, but I don't know what it's about.
Sports manga. The team coming
Oh, okay.
together and winning. Yeah.
Okay. Nice, Marianne. You're doing the Lord's work.
What's she saying about Sweden?
She's heading to a bookstore
tomorrow. Apparently, it is expensive.
Marianne, my sister is bringing the Books of Babel to me next week.
Yay!
Because I bought them in Belfast at the same time I bought that first edition of Use of Weapons, and yeah, so she's been keeping them. My sister lives in Belfast. My sister is better than me. She's amazing. She's going to be on a live stream with me next week, I hope.
Yay!
Nice. When are you going to Japan, by the way?
The 3rd of July is my flight. The issue is we're flying through Dubai to get there. And I'm not liking the airspace right now, so I might change my flight and go a different way.
Yeah.
This is a bit old. This is Milton's Paradise Lost. And I need to get it. I'm being very careful with it because I don't want to damage it whatsoever. Guys, how's your Roman numerals again? Tell me.
Mine's okay. What's the Roman numerals?
It's also a bit dark. The cover needs cleaned. Like it's actually leaving residue on my fingers. MCMV.
MCMV. That is like, oh my god.
I'm being very careful with this.
1100.
No, it's 1905.
1905.
But 2 M's or 1 M?
MCMV.
Yeah.
I'm being very careful with it.
1905.
I'm going to get it cleaned up because it's literally leaving marks on my hands and my legs. But if I can pay to get this made nice, that would be an amazing book to keep, huh?
That would be, and if you are not going to pay to get it nice, I will literally pay to have that sent to me.
Honestly, I don't know if it would survive the trip, Evie.
Yeah, keep the backpack. Keep in backpack.
I
don't talk about it enough, but I love Paradise Lost.
It's literally marked in my hands. So the cover.
I think we need Anitha and I need to talk while you go wash your hands before you touch other books.
Yeah, I'm going to go do that. The problem is the door is blocked with the keeping books.
Oh no.
So I will see if it's possible to get that restored and made not dirty. And then I'll see how it goes.
Forget might change your flight. Change it. Yeah, definitely change your flight.
We'll see. But yeah, we have friends who are just flying out of Kuwait tonight. And obviously what's happened tonight with I don't know if you've seen the story that Iran has attacked the bases in Qatar.
Yeah.
Our friends were literally flying.
Wait, Iran attacked Qatar?
Yeah. US bases in Qatar. There in Qatar, there are like big US base there is. So.
Yeah.
So our friend's plane was grounded just as they were about to take off. So we're still waiting to see what's going to happen with them. But yeah. Right, let me go wash my hands and be right back. I'm gonna go fill up my water as well.
Yes, Ben. Paradise Lost is one of my favorite things. It is wonderful.
Is it better or worse than Don Quixote?
Oh god. Oh no. Don Quixote is better than Paradise Lost. Oh, you made me choose.
Evie, not a fan of Don Quixote anymore.
I just said Don Quixote is better than Paradise Lost.
Oh, sorry, I heard the opposite. You are not a fan of Paradise Lost anymore. David can't send you that book to you anymore. I'll intercept it. Alan needs to make a Paradise Lost question for book
No,
Jeopardy,
he
Andy.
needs to make a persuasion question so he can hit the trifecta.
Yeah. Oh. By the way, chat, what are you all reading? What is the most surprising book you read this year? Everyone. Evie?
I don't know. Let me look at my reading spreadsheet. I mean, DCC was definitely surprising for me. Done and never mind. I know what the answer is. Done and Dusted, the Rebel Blue Rage series. That was the most surprising read for me this year that I freaking loved.
You binged through them very fast.
True. In like less than a week, or a little over a week, I read 4 romance books, and it was great. It's glorious.
Ben, I just need to talk to Ben very quickly. Ben, I'm reading Kaiju, Battlefield Surgeon. There are no jokes in that book. It is grim.
By the way, David, I'm really happy that you liked Purple and Black.
It was so good. Sorry.
Right? It is so good. I can't tell you how much I loved it. I keep thinking about it every single day.
Let me load up my cap cuts because I need to show you the section of where I just started. I went to a park yesterday and I just exploded talking about KJ Parker. This will be a video for next week. I'm doing 10 books in 10 days. And this was yesterday. Hang on. This is just me. Hang on, I'll show it to you. This is me walking around a park, just talking about KJ Parker for 5 minutes as the sun went down. I loved that novella. It was so good.
Yes.
And then the thing is, I have to find £1,000 to buy all of KJ Parker's stuff because it's impossible to find.
It's true.
Yeah.
I lucked out by getting the, I don't know where it's at, somewhere up there. There was a eBay listing of academic exercises. It was an ex-library book.
I'll get it. It's okay.
But there was no photo of it, nothing. So it was like that. But there was it was no photo of it. So I was like, okay, I don't know what condition this book is in, but it's $50 US. Normally, this thing, people sell it for like hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
When I checked eBay, I found 2 copies. I wanted to buy both of them. I thought you already have one, so I got one. I was thinking whether to, maybe I'll get the second one too, so that I'll keep, and if anybody wants it, I can get. Next day, you said you got it, We got it the same time, just 2 days. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, Joe Abercrombie's just going straight in because he's everywhere. I can find more copies if I want to for very cheap.
Yeah.
The Dark Tower, same thing. I love the Dark Tower. But they're easy to find, these books, huh?
Yes. But
Joe Abercrombie
and Dark Tower, Joe Abercrombie and Dark Tower, you can ask in Discord people, some people may be interested.
Some of them are very beat up.
Okay, then forget it.
I will be right back.
A family member has read them in the bath. You know how when you read something in the bath and it turns yellow? Do you know that? Is that weird?
I don't think so. Daddy, who is taking necessary break before Rain Wiles?
Me. She's talking about me.
Okay.
Right. Okay. We're almost there, or we're not almost there, but we're getting there. I'm going to have to toss this because it's huge. This is a really good first contact story that I haven't heard anyone talk about.
What is it? 20? What is Roman symbols 10?
XX. It's supposed to be the 20th century, is what it kind of represents in the novel. It's again one of these ergodic books that plays with shape and form on the page.
Oh, okay.
So I did 100 pages a day over 10 days.
Okay.
Basically, what if the aliens came as a big long line of digital code? That's the premise. What if the alien invasion happened digitally?
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good, but it's too big to take to Japan. So
Yeah.
it's a brick, but it's such a good brick. I had such a good time with it. I might need to get a second box, you know. What do you think?
Yes.
Yeah. Anitha, entertain the chat.
Sure. Nerdcraft is saying he's very glad he subscribed because I think you and him has a very similar taste. I'm realized now I can't select the chat, but that's okay. Yes, Ben, even I love that. The name of the book is XX, two X's.
XX by Ryan Hughes, Rian. You know, Ben, it's not so hard to move.
Yeah.
It's not easy, but it's not the hardest thing. Right, this should be enough for the.
Yes, I think only few left now.
Yeah, and you know, if I turn the screen, that's kind of what we're looking at in terms of kept books. It's not so bad. Not bad at all.
Not so bad.
Right. Should we keep on keeping on? This is a book. So have you? I don't know if you've ever seen the London Underground or been to London. Where the advertisements are on Metro. In London, they have poems there.
Oh, I think I have seen in some show or movies. Yes.
So this is a collection of the poems used on the London Underground. When you're sitting there having, you look up and you see, poems. So it's kind of cool, but I don't know if it's worth keeping. I taught this book actually. I ordered it as a poetry collection for my students in Japan.
Oh.
Toss?
Yes. Have you already read it?
No, but it's just like it's a collection of poems. You know what I mean? It's.
Give me a breakdown of what other things you've tossed.
No, he went to get a box. Nothing else tossed.
No.
XX, one sci-fi books XX. I thought it is Evie Pile, but it is Chonker for international shipping. So
yeah, you probably just find it online, but it's really good. XX. Shakespeare.
Toss.
This is again back to our boy Samuel Pepys. This is a collection of his greatest diary entries. And that Everyman edition.
See, I cannot get my brain to understand how somebody thought one man's diary is like important to be published. I mean,
I love reading people's diaries. I love it.
I'm not talking about like important pieces like Diary of Anne Frank or no. I'm not talking about those. But these are like, I woke up, as you said, I had breakfast.
Breakfast,
those are like regular things, right? Like very.
I don't know. You're talking to the guy who's bought people's address books and used charity shops. I'm a bit nosy.
I mean, obviously Samuel Pepys was important enough that people want to continue having his stuff in print. Like I have Mary Shelley's edition of Mary Shelley's journals. Like,
do you know what I have? Where is it? I saw it. Here it is. This is very similar. The Letters of Charles Dickens.
Oh, cool.
See, I understand letters, journals, even this guy, if they just curated like important diary entries, I definitely understand. So this book I understand, but the 4 or 5 years, you said like he wrote each day, each page, and they published like everything that I cannot wrap my brain around.
Samuel Pepys obviously did something important enough that he's still in print, so.
And he didn't get chlamydia somehow, so good for him.
Maybe he got and they didn't know. At that time, do they know that it's called chlamydia?
Do you guys know David Sedaris? He's a modern writer. Me Talk Pretty one day.
I know of him. I've never actually read any of his
stuff. He publishes his diaries too, and my mum and I disagree about this because she hates them, but I really enjoy reading his diaries. And they're curated but he has 2 volumes of his diaries out. Theft by Finding and A Carnival of Snackery, they're called. And it's his diaries from like 1970 something to today. But it's really interesting reading them because, he hits on these moments in cultural life and also his own life. So, he'll be writing one day about eating hot dogs and the next day it'll be, my mother has passed away. Or there's this new infection called coronavirus and suddenly things are shutting down. So you get to almost see through one man's life.
Yeah.
Yeah. I quite like them.
If they're curated, I totally understand. Some people live in like right times and their lives are interesting. Chuck it. I don't know.
I'm just showing it. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Chuck it.
Go
I
ahead.
was just showing to you because I know you guys would love to see it.
He
Sorry,
kept,
Anitha, I cut you off there.
no, that's okay. I'm done. Derry, he kept it. When he saw your comment, he put the book in the box.
I kept it, Derry. I kept it. Sorry, I should have said. I didn't realize it was that. Derry, are you saying that specific edition, Derry, is valuable?
Tuesday Fox, you're right. You're definitely right. Historians would argue that you have to publish in its entirety, but luckily I'm not a historian. And I don't think I'm nosy actually. So as long as they're interesting, I don't mind.
I hate this book. I hate it because it's one of these.
Oh.
It's one of these sort of Waterstones Barnes and Nobles edition that look very nice, but actually feel very, very cheap. It's the complete works of Edgar Allan Poe. I also don't like Edgar Allan Poe very much. So, apart from what's that amazing short story he did, where it's like different colored rooms. I love that story. Oh my goodness, I don't know. But I think I'm going to toss this one. I think a Poe fan can have it. It's one of these things that looks lovely, but actually, when you actually hold it in your hands, it feels very cheaply made.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cheap
unless
as
either of
in
you want it.
terms of page or experience of reading it.
Say again.
Cheap as in terms of paper quality.
Do you know the paper quality feels okay? It's this cover, this cheap plasticky cover.
Okay.
Like it's shiny. You see that?
Yeah, it's like a Barnes and Noble style.
Exactly.
I get it.
I'm going to toss it if neither of you are interested. Mask of the Red Death, Matt. Thank you. Yes, you're right.
I already have the complete works of Edgar Allan Poe.
I realized I don't want those kind of. See, I do. Evie.
Hold on. The stupid dog is getting in the cat food again.
Evie kindly.
I have that one too. I love that one.
And I love the edition, and it is a very beautiful edition. And I need to get to the last book at the end of this month, but it is so difficult to hold and read.
Yeah.
I was like, I am not getting this kind of omnibuses anymore. They're difficult to read.
I think it's nicer having that. I mean, I don't like The Witcher. Oh, sorry, Vera, have you ever watched this? But I do enjoy these more. These are kind of nicer to have, I think.
What, you guys talking about me? What? What are we?
Yeah, we were. We're just talking about bind-ups versus single editions.
This I like so much, but difficult. But I think I have to read the other one later this month in this edition. I did not put hold in library, so I'm going to read the last one in this edition.
I really like the Other Wind. People kind of say that Earthsea stuff goes off the deep end, and I disagree. I think the Other Wind is a really wonderful little book.
I love Tales from Earthsea too. I mean, I think maybe, arguably, I have to sit and think, but because Tehanu, I loved it so much. It's one of my favorite books of all time. But I love Tales from Earthsea. Probably my favorite now from Earthsea collection. No idea.
I love. What's the third one?
Furthest Shore was my favorite.
Yeah.
Until I read Tales from Earthsea, and then I'm a sucker for stories. So
this is a bind-up of Tokyo Ghoul. It's one of these really cheap mass market ones you get in Tokyo. I imagine, this cost me $1.50. Just want to point out that in Japan, manga is so cheap. It's so cheap.
Popular too, right?
Yeah, but it's literally it feels like you have that like a dried dead log, which is essentially what a book is. It's very light and it feels very flimsy. Like a log that has been sitting in the fire, and you pick it up and it's basically hollow. That's exactly how this feels. It's so light. I'm going to toss it. This is Vagabond in Japanese. This was 100 yen, so like 60 cents. Just toss it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's a controversial one. Are you ready to burn some bridges?
Yes, sure.
Now, let me say why.
There is an excellent audiobook. Sorry for cutting you, but there is an excellent audiobook. So
true.
And also broken binding.
I have the broken binding edition. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give this to my father or one of my cousins, someone who would enjoy this. So I'm not just going to stick it in a charity shop, but there's no need to have 2 copies of The Way of Adan. But I have books 2 and 3 in this style, and they would look quite nice on a shelf. 1, 2, 3. No, that's not enough of a reason to.
I am sure at some point broken binding.
They're already talking about book 2. So
that's true. Yeah. The complete Robert Burns poetry.
Robert Burns. That's terrible. I'm so sorry.
I haven't read much poetry, so I don't know if I like it or not. So no.
Yeah, I'm offended on your behalf, David. I'm so sorry.
How do you pronounce my city? Do you guys know what my city is? How do you pronounce it? The
Are
one
you
that starts with G.
Are you in Glasgow?
Yeah,
Or
that was okay. That pronunciation. That was okay.
Oh, so I'm
When people say glass cow.
Glasgow?
thankfully I would have said Glasgow. Glasgow.
Yeah. I'll keep this for now. I'm certainly not going to just toss it in the donation. It's a nice enough edition that it's worth giving to someone.
Nice.
I'll keep it here for now. We're on the home stretch, guys. Developing effective research proposals.
Chuck it.
This is so good.
Narratives and fictions in educational research.
Chuck it.
Out. If it was my books, I would cry. But if it is somebody, it is so easy to sit here and say, chuck it.
I know. Well, that's why I wanted to do this as a team exercise. Children's literature and second language education.
Chuck
You're
it.
expert in now, so you don't need other book.
Do you know what this would be, though? I would never open this. I just have it on my shelf to look like I have expertise. Slam dunk. Going to put that over here and deal with that later. So I'm not a big thriller reader, but I quite enjoyed this series by a guy called Tim Weaver, this British guy. He has this thriller series called the David Raker series. First one's called Chasing the Dead. I think I have. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep it and probably try and read it in the next few weeks.
Widely available?
I don't know. That's a good question. I'll look that up later.
Okay.
Yeah. Reading for reflective teaching in schools. Evie, say stop.
Stop.
Anitha, say stop.
Stop.
Engaged time, usually defined as the time that students appear to be paying attention to materials or presentations that have instructional goals. When the concept of engagement is used to create the variable of student engaged time, the variable is usually measured by classroom observers or coded from the videotapes of No.
I wasn't engaged or paying attention with that. Keep it because you're keeping all your Franco Harris stuff.
Yeah.
Keep it because you're keeping all your
favorite, right?
Yeah, I'm going to keep. I think these are quite hard to find out as well because he's quite a minor poet, Frank O'Hara. That's
not to be objective, but that's a good-looking man right there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he wasn't interested in the ladies.
Oh well,
Yeah. He was amazing, Frank O'Hara. He worked in the Museum of Modern Art in New York City, and on his lunch breaks, he'd write poems. He was hated.
The lunch poems that you talked about, right?
Yeah. Jack Kerouac hated him. Jack Kerouac hated him. They hated each other. And I don't really like Jack Kerouac, so that makes me like.
I hate more. Jack Kerouac on principle, anyways. Stupid.
Yeah. He was killed age 40 by a beach buggy, which you don't want to laugh at someone's death, but what a way to go! Death by beach buggy. He'd go to this island just outside of New York called Fire Island.
Okay.
Which was apparently quite a hangout spot at the time, and complete freak accident. But he just left behind this work of really weird, joyful poetry. I love Frank O'Hara. I think he's brilliant. Keep it.
Does he actually? I could probably just find a selection of his work, but does he have like rhyme and meter and stuff like that, or is he just?
No, he's very free verse. I would say don't buy his collected stuff. I mean, his collected stuff, if you're a fan, is fine, but I think his shorter stuff, there's a lot of kind of wonky stuff in there, or let's say highly experimental. So he has Meditations in an Emergency, which was quoted in Mad Men. The first episode of Mad Men famously used a Frank O'Hara quote. I am waiting for the catastrophe of my personality to become beautiful again. That's the line. He's just wonderful, Frank O'Hara. And he lived this really strange life that was full of joy in an era in 1950s New York where who he was very much looked down upon. And he just did his own thing. And he wrote this wonderful, pretentious, artistic, self-indulgent poet. I just love the man. I love him. Frank O'Hara.
And if he have been there, he would have understood how pretentious you are. It would have been fun.
Yeah, I'll send that to him later. Becoming a critically reflective teacher. Again, I would put it on a bookshelf and never read it.
Chuck it.
Oh no, I put Frank O'Hara in the chuck box. Sorry.
I saw that. I was like, okay, maybe I got confused. I thought maybe that's what keeping it box.
No. I need to just, we're fine. Okay, good. I'm going to keep this. Where we lived, the first time we lived in an area of Tokyo called Takahata. And next to Takahata, you can look this up. There's a mountain. Anyone in the chat might be interested in doing this. There's a mountain just outside of Tokyo called Mount Takao. Takao. I type it in the chat. Mount Takao is this beautiful little day trip from Japan, and we bought this for our son. When we thought we were leaving Japan forever, this was an English and Japanese parallel translation talking about Mount Takao and the beauties of Mount Takao.
Aww. And
So-
the artwork is beautiful.
Yeah, and we're actually moving back very close to where Mount Takao is. But I still quite like this book, so I'm going to keep it. Right. Let me get the rest of it over, because it's just that, and it's this, and then we're done.
The
So,
end is in sight.
yeah. Now, sorry, I shouldn't have put this here. This is something else. Although, this is quite interesting. You guys might be interested in this. This is my travel note album. Whenever I go to a new place, I try and get some
Like a
some
dollar
money
or
from the
whatever.
place.
Nice.
I don't know if that's
Yes.
interesting to anyone.
Yes, I have it too, but I don't
Yeah.
have. I didn't travel to that many places, but yes,
It's cool having like this memorabilia, isn't it?
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Right, gonna put this over here. Man, I'm getting my weight training in.
I mean, and just think, you're gonna get extra having to pack up all these books that you're taking and donating.
Do you know what? It does feel good to get rid of some of them. Like to acknowledge to myself, like it's not gonna happen. And then someone else maybe will enjoy them.
It is a literal and figurative weight off of you, or at least off your floors. So
Right. Let's do it. The final
anyway,
pitch.
tangentially related. Are you meeting with your family in the States and then flying to Japan, or are you flying to Japan and then they're going to meet you in Japan?
I'm not going to the States, unfortunately. I'm going to Japan in about a week and a half. I'm going to get an apartment for us because Japanese apartments are totally unfurnished. So I need to get an apartment and buy everything, light bulbs, curtains, before my son and daughter get through and realize that the apartment is a shell. So that's kind of why we've separated. I mean, I also wanted to come in and see my family. I have a new niece who I hadn't met yet, and then my grandmother's quite poorly. And then from my wife's side, like my wife has all this family kind of scattered throughout the States. So it was nice for her to kind of go and see all of them. So what that meant is about a month of distance, which we've done before, but is unpleasant. I'm not enjoying it. But we're going to reunite in Tokyo, not the States. We did briefly look at flights that I could fly over there, but it would have ballooned the cost, man. It would have ballooned the cost. But next time I'm in that neck of the woods, I know we're not too far from each other.
Yeah. Another
Without
old
Dr.
book.
This is A.A. Milne, who wrote Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, cool.
It's falling apart, this book, though.
Is it Winnie the Pooh, or is it something
No,
else?
it's his kids' stories.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. No, there is some Pooh stuff in here. The problem is this book it's 100 years old, apparently. It's really falling apart at the seams.
I would
Oh,
have
wow.
said it's Anitha pile, but it is falling apart. So
Yeah, and it needs to go to some kind of restoration. I'll put it up here for now. Barbara Guest, having just waxed poetic, pun intended, about Frank O'Hara. Barbara Guest was in the same coterie, and I don't think she's very good. So I'm going to toss her.
Shuck it. Yeah, rip to those spines.
Gods and Heroes and Myths and Epics of Ancient Greece. This was my grandfather's.
Oh, well, then you keep it.
Well, he got it. I'm just looking at this now. He got it after graduation from university. It's clearly a graduation gift. MCML6. MCMLVI.
1906.
Is it? 1956.
Mm.
MCML.
Oh, L. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah. 51.
But that doesn't
Oh.
mean the book is that old. Let's check. 1950, this book was published. Yeah, it's my grandfather's. It's got to be kept. But you don't really get that kind of stuff anymore, do you?
Nice.
I'll send it. I'll send pictures of it to Alan and.
I just finished a nonfiction exploration / deep dive into Helen of Troy. So I am on
nice.
a nonfiction kick / ancient history kick.
Speaking of which, I've been carrying this around. I mentioned this in my first video on my YouTube channel. I still haven't read it. Thucydides.
Hey!
Let's do a buddy read.
Oh God, I'm too short. I got that at the bookstore a couple weeks ago.
Anitha, this is where we hold yours up.
I'm about to say Anitha pile, but yes, I'll get it. We can read.
So I read what was it? Herodotus. A couple of years ago. Yeah, and I loved it. And I had this. It felt like I was kind of communing. Well, it was kind of communing with someone from the past, wasn't it? And I never read anything like ancient historical text that wasn't like biblical before that. And I just loved every night reading like 20 pages of this guy telling me the histories of something that was older than 2,000 years. It was a marvelous experience, and I finished it. That was amazing. And then I never read any ancient history ever again. So I've had this, but I haven't read it.
There is something I don't know, captivating about reading that happened like 2,000 years before, and which can happen now itself, which we see some like aspects of what happened. We are seeing the like current timeline. It is very interesting.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I also really enjoy like when it gets wrong. Like I remember Herodotus has this whole thing about like this history of what happened in, I think it was Babylon 500 years before Herodotus. And I went to the footnotes and they just kind of went, he's making this up. It didn't happen. But like having that kind of semi-historicity to it, it felt very campfire. I don't quite know how to articulate it either, but
yeah,
I loved it. And I like this maps too. I mean, everyone loves maps.
Marianne, there is no question about it. Those two are gonna dust me. Actually, I'm the slowest reader.
Although, hey, to my credit, and Sal can
attest to this.
back me. Yeah, thank you. That's the word. Words are really, really hard. I did really, really well at buddy reading Helen of Troy, except for that last bit. So.
I agree.
Guys, I know I should toss this, but I really don't want to. But I'm not going to read it anytime soon.
Which one? Sorry, I missed it.
You can find it anywhere. Like
you want to read it, right? If you're tossing it, keep it in Anitha pile.
Well, okay, yeah. Do you want it?
But you want to read it, right?
You can find it anywhere.
Yeah, I'll get it somewhere else. I'll add it to the Anitha pile.
Okay.
This is the last old book.
Anitha, I hope you're making a list of the things that are going to be yours, because I will forget by the time that these books get to me.
Okay, so this says £55 on it. So that's like $80 US. However, I do not believe that this book, £55 means a different thing at different times, right?
Yeah.
This is, again, talking about learning Greek years ago. This is the 4 Gospels in the original Greek.
Whoa!
MCMXXXII. When was this? MCMXXXII.
1932. 32.
There's 4 X's, right?
1932. And you know what? Not being able to read this whatsoever.
Oh, I thought there were 4 X's. Sorry.
It's kind of beautiful.
That is beautiful.
I can't toss it. It smells good too.
That's really cool.
Backpack.
Yeah. Old books pile. You know, I feel very lucky. And the reason I have all of these old books is not anything I've done. It's just someone 3 generations above me bought them, and then no one else wanted them, so they get handed down to me. But it's a good situation to be in, and I know it's a very, very lucky kind of privileged situation to have access to all these old documents. But I mean, the Paradise Lost one is the one I really want to see if I can get restored, because that thing is it's falling apart, but it's also the coolest one.
So
if it's first edition, it will be valuable as well.
Yeah, maybe I should get someone in to look at them. I wonder how hard is it to find like a book valuator. I'm sure it's all digital these days too.
I'm sure if you go to like a oh my gosh, auction place, they can look at it. But I will say that, you know, when I feel like people always ask the question, what type of superpower would you like to have? Superpower I would like to have is being able to understand written and spoken any language whatsoever.
Yes.
Something really cool about looking at a language you can't read and being like, that looks interesting. And it almost feels like you're kind of approaching a new frontier or like a new country or something. Yeah, I think I prefer to play all musical instruments.
I think I chose the superpower from Harry Potter, where apparating and disapparating from any place when you have the picture in your head. I
So
want,
teleporting?
yes, teleporting. Yes. I mean, I wanted that. I actually initially I wanted that because it was getting difficult to visit my friend in Hyderabad traffic when I was living in India, because we used to meet a lot, we used to hang out a lot. But now it will be useful to go visit my friends, my family, you guys, anywhere I can come. I want teleporting.
I bought this book. This was when I was pretentious. Wait, do you want to see? This is classic undergrad move. You get to the final year of university, you buy a book called something like The Fate of Place, and you decide to study the philosophy of space, and then you get one chapter in, and then your annotations just disappear because it was too much for you.
Oh, I don't feel alone. We're good.
Yeah,
know
that is
that.
so relatable. So relatable.
By the way, did you get that book because of your fear of space?
No. This is I forget what it's called. The philosophy of place.
Oh,
topology,
like a place.
topology.
Oh, I thought you meant like space as in like outer space.
Do you know what it was? I was doing my dissertation on Frank O'Hara, like the undergrad dissertation, and I wondered if there was something to write about in terms of how Frank O'Hara treats place. Because Frank O'Hara, I'm going to go back to Frank O'Hara. Frank O'Hara does this thing where he just names places. He doesn't treat it poetically. He's just like, I wish I was in Lisbon right now. And you just say it like that. Or, I went to the cafe to have my breakfast, and then I went down 38th Street, and then I saw my friend Jason, and he got into a taxi. He's often very conversational. So I wondered if I wanted to write my dissertation on how Frank O'Hara treats topology, geography. I didn't in the end because this book was too tough for me. But that's where it came from.
All
When
roads
did he
lead to
write?
Frank O'Hara, by the way.
When did he write that?
This book, or Frank O'Hara.
Frank O'Hara.
Frank O'Hara died in 1960 something, I think.
Oh, I thought, that's not that old. Okay.
No, he again the same time as like Jack Kerouac, Allen Ginsberg, all those kind of guys. Evie, what did you say about Frank O'Hara?
No, I was just saying all roads lead to Frank O'Hara.
Absolutely.
Just like all roads for me lead to either Spear Cuts Through Water or John Keats. So.
Or
have you read Hyperion? You said you had, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, John Keats is huge in that book.
Yeah, I need to reread Fall of Hyperion. Chuck it. You can find it anywhere.
Chonker, yeah.
It's quite small though. Like my hand is literally bigger than it. Like it's one of these mass market.
My eyes already hurt just thinking about reading those tiny, tiny font.
Not so bad.
Have you already read it?
No, I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna see if it's something I do want to get to. I might toss it later. Here I've got some
yes, Marion, like the Beatniks.
The cousins of the Beats, but they're far more cool. The Beats were show-offs, and the New York School of Poetry lived it. The New York School of Poetry is much more like Jackson Pollock. The thing about the New York School of Poetry is that they didn't really hang out with other writers. They hung out with artists. They hung out with the Jackson Pollocks and people like that. And Frank O'Hara again was the curator or the manager of the Museum of Modern Art. So a lot of their poetry is based on what they were viewing in these artistic exhibitions, and not based on and like the whole thing about the modernists is that they read everything and then wrote their own stuff based on everything that came before. But what the New York School did is that they looked at poetry. They looked at art, and they based their writing off art, which makes them really unique. Oh, I could talk about Frank O'Hara and Yotsuba and Malazan all day.
We all have our Frank O'Haras. That's okay.
Speaking of which, hyperscapes in the poetry of Frank O'Hara. Keep. Frank O'Hara now, new essays on the New York poet.
Keep.
Oh my God.
Teaching stuff now. Again, that poetry professor I had, Professor Lysing.
The girl with the Jake tattoo?
Yeah.
That's cool.
There he is. That's him.
All right, keep it.
Yep. I'm going to keep this book, Teaching and Assessing Intercultural Communicative Competence. It's a topic that's really important to me, so I'm going to keep that. Right. Okay. If anyone is interested, sorry, I'm monologuing now. Forgive me, guys. If anyone wants a poet who is fun, who you can read and just enjoy, This guy David Kirby is really good. And that he actually looks like that. There he is.
Was he also a comic book artist? Because I feel like I've heard that name in comic.
I think that's Jack Kirby, isn't it?
Oh, okay.
David Kirby, he writes narrative poems where he basically just tells a story in poetic form, and it's chill. It's really easy to read. They're kind of like braided narratives where he'll take like 3 different stories and he'll just like scrunch them together. I'm just seeing if there's any of them I can. So this one starts. I'm bouncing across the Scottish heath in a rented Morris minor and listening to an interview with Rad Scabies, drummer of the first band, The Damned, and Mr. Scabies, who's probably 50 or so, and living comfortably on royalties, is as recalcitrant as ever, so full of despair and self-loathing, but the interviewer won't have it, and he keeps calling him Ratty, saying, Ratty, it's all a bit of a put-on, isn't it? So basically he takes like a few different episodes from things he's doing in his life, and he sticks them together into a poem, and kind of lets the themes sort themselves out. Very easy, very, very low-key poetry.
I'm so sorry. This is going to get me booted again. But that just sounds so boring.
Okay, right. I knew you were going to say that. I love modern poetry, but it's so tricky, right? Because like some poetry is clever without... Some of this poetry, Evie, I'm actually with you. Like 99% of poetry written in this style is just dull and simple. But I do think you have 2 or 3 poets who can do it and do it in a clever way. But you know what? I don't necessarily disagree with you that a lot of the people who try to do this just are writing.
For me, sorry for interrupting, David.
No, there you go.
For me, I can say this because Alan is not here. As someone whose 3rd language is English, I think I prefer simple poetry because that I can understand. If I don't understand something, I can get frustrated and I get headache. So I think my level of poetry is very simple. I think Evie's poetry, I will not be able to understand anything.
I mean, John Keats and William Blake are stare at it for half an hour until it
I
makes
mean, I am not a fan of William Blake. I don't hate him, but I don't like him. I love John Keats. But of like living modern poets, Sarah Tolmie I think is really good.
Sarah, say that again?
Sarah Tolmie.
T-O-M-I-E.
T-O-M-I-E.
Tolmie.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
So she writes All the Horses of Iceland novella, but like her poetry, I finally, Matt, if you're still in the chat, he and I have been buddy reading Sarah Tolmie's books for, years at this point now.
What is the book I sent you? I sent you one Tolmie book.
Sarah Tolmie.
I don't remember which one is that.
The Fourth Island, All the Horses of Iceland, The Stone Boatman. There's only so many.
I'll check my Amazon history. Never mind.
So she looks so cool. Poetry based on her speculative fiction reading. That's awesome.
What's her last release, Evie?
Right?
Sacraments for the Unfit?
Yeah.
Her, yeah.
It's a collection. Yep. Her... I love her stuff. I love everything that she does. But like Trio is I think this was her first collection of poetry, and it's sonnets, but they're modern sonnets, and it's just there's some humor to them, and it's just great.
Okay, David and Evie, both of you. For me, as I said, English is my 3rd language, so keep that in mind.
Can I interrupt you? What are your other 2 languages? I was going to ask you.
Those are Indian. One is Telugu, my state language, and next is Hindi. I don't think you will know that because those are local languages. Okay. Anyway, both of you, what if I want to like read poetry, one like small collection, what do you recommend to me?
I'm sure they're out there. Whatever selected poems of Emily Dickinson.
Okay.
It's tricky because it's like saying, if I should read a book, where should I start? Like it's but it's even harder than that, right? Because poetry stretches back to In Hejuana, if we're going to link back to that book from 2 hours ago. So it's really, really tricky. I guess you're looking for accessibility. You know, I've been recommending an author called Caroline.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I refuse.
It doesn't have to be like very basic, because now I'm not like 17 anymore. I have been reading in English from long time. Maybe I can try like mid-level.
I really like Caroline Duffy, is what I was going to say. She's a Scottish poet. She was the poet laureate for the UK for about 10 years. And then so the poet laureate is someone who is like the poet of the country. And it's like a 10-year post. Caroline Duffy's fabulous. I was just recommending Caroline Duffy to Joanna. She has a collection called The World's Wife. The World's Wife. Let me type it in. Is it Our World's Wife? The World's Wife. Oh,
The World's Wife. I found it.
David is a friend of mine in real life, and he has just written a book. And David, forgive me, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe you were in competition with your dad to see who could write the better book. And I have it downstairs, and I'm really excited to get it.
Is your dad also named David Mitchell?
No, this isn't my dad. This is my friend.
No. I'm saying your friend is your friend, David.
Yeah.
Is your dad also named David Mitchell? And is he a comic writer or is he a serious writer? Because
no, he's just a guy.
Okay, because I was gonna say, do we have a god amongst us here?
Yeah.
No. So there's like about 1 million David Mitchells in the UK.
Okay.
So
like John Smith. Okay, never mind.
David Mitchell, no offense, David Mitchell in the chat is the comedian David Mitchell, who's the funniest man. Anyway, Caroline Duffy, The World's Wife. It's a collection of poems written from the perspective of spouses of famous people. So, like there's a poem called Mrs. Kong, and there's a poem called Mrs. Midas, and there's a poem called Mrs. Spider-Man, and it's examining all these famous people from their spouse's perspective. And it's really clever. And sometimes it's often called like a man-hating collection of poetry. It's really not. And I get so irritated when people call it that. It's just this re-examination of these famous people in society through the lens of someone very close to them. And so someone like Mrs. Midas, it's all about the fact that like this bloke has made this really stupid decision and how it impacts the family unit. Or like, and I can't remember many of them. The World's Wife is often taught in Scottish schools, and for that reason, people hate it because when you're assigned it to read, people don't like it. But it genuinely is such a clever, inventive poem that has this narrative through line. But it's just entertaining and it's interesting, and every poem is like this new little delight. And also and this isn't really a language thing, but it's just more of a cultural thing because we know who these people are: Mrs. Kong, Mrs. Spider-Man. They feel easier to get into because when you look at the title, like Mrs. Kong, you know kind of what the poem is going to be about. So you don't have to spend a lot of time working out what the poem is talking about in the first place.
Although, David, we're talking about Anitha, who doesn't know what Three Little Pigs is.
But okay, Three Little Pigs are not UK based, but some of the UK based stories we were taught. So maybe at least some I could recognize.
I'm just messing. I did see that at least on the sample thing, they have the like table of contents. There's Mrs. Beast. So sold.
Yeah, it's really good, The World's Wife, and it's inventive and it's accessible, but it's smart accessible. It's not fluffy.
I will say as an aside, I hate capital H, capital A, capital T, capital E, that any sort of feminism is automatically assumed to be man-hating. Yes. Feminism is not man-hating.
It's because some men are fragile.
It's true.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. I mean, I don't want to get into now feminism hating. This is going to be hate stream now. Let's not get into that. But yes, I agree with Evie. And David, you are an influencer. You are good at selling books, actually. Like, I am very
have,
interested.
3 things in my cart.
I have like multiple tabs open.
Thank you. Can I talk to you about Frank O'Hara and Yotsuba? Yeah.
Actually, I mean, is there a particular collection that
you
would recommend of Frank O'Hara?
You should do a video about Frank O'Hara, like everything you read and what is your recommendation, which order we should go, something like that.
So Frank O'Hara, his stuff is very different. Meditations in an Emergency is one, and Lunch Poems is the other, and they're very small. But some of these poems are kind of abstract, like Jackson Pollock type things, and some of them are just fun, easy narratives that I still think carry a lot of weight. And he has this poem called "The Day Lady Died," Frank O'Hara, which is all about him like, you know how when something happens, I mean, it kind of happened today with Iran attacking the base in Qatar. Like, you know where you are when you find out that news. And this poem is all about Frank O'Hara, because he's so immersed in pop culture and cinema at the time. It's all about him realizing where he was when he just, I forget who the lady is, what a celebrity at the time died. And he has this line at the end where everyone and I stopped breathing. And then the poem just ends without any punctuation. He's marvelous. And he did a lot of things like lack of punctuation, which a lot of people have carried. He wasn't the first one, but I think he normalized it in the kind of American tradition among poets. I think Dickinson also did it, didn't she? Am I getting that right? Where's Dickinson from? Is she British?
From Massachusetts.
Yeah, she's American. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I love Frank O'Hara. Speaking of Frank O'Hara, he also, I don't know what to do with this because it's a beast, but it's hard to find. One of Frank O'Hara's mates, written in the same tradition, this guy called Kenneth Koch. He's not nearly as good as Frank O'Hara, but very, very similar.
But if you appreciate it and it's hard to find, I'd say keep it.
Yeah. The other good poet, I would say, there's Frank O'Hara. There's Kenneth Koch, who's not as good, but he's enjoyable. There's a poet called James Schuyler. And James Schuyler is a beautiful poet. He was a beautiful poet. Often just writing a poem about a flower, and it's just beautiful. These really little short lines, and you just want to read. You just read them, and you go, "That was just gorgeous," even if it's meaningless. And I'm not saying it is meaningless. It's gorgeous to read. James Schuyler, magnificent guy. Anyway.
So I haven't read any of the poetry yet, but Marianne, if you're still here, you will appreciate this. If you have any interest in Titus Grown or the Gormenghast series, Mervyn Peake also has poetry.
Does he?
And you can tell he's a poet when you read Titus Grown, Gormenghast, his novels. It is beautiful.
I've heard a lot of people bounce off Mervyn Peake. Are you a fan?
I love Mervyn Peake. Also,
Okay.
To be fair, literally, I had to try reading Titus Grown 7 different times. It took me 7 times trying to read that book. And then I finally was like, it's either his 7th time or I'm not reading this book ever over the course of 10 years. And I finally, on the 7th time, pushed through and I read it. So.
Have you known this self-pub author called Kay Andrews? This is her fantasy book. I haven't read her yet, but she also wrote Hills of Heather and Bone. Last year, self-pub SPFBO runner-up that she got. She also writes poetry. I think she published 3 books. I think I saw an Instagram post or something. They are very simple poems. I do want to try her. I find they're very good, at least for my level.
I've read one of those collections of poetry. They're very personal. Very much just based on like real lived experience. Katie Andrews is brilliant. I actually interviewed Katie. I'd say about 3-4 months ago on my channel about Hills of Heather and Bone. And I now do own Assassin of Grins and Secrets. That one was it? Anitha?
Yeah, this one
and Wild Skies. She was kind enough to send me copies actually, which was she didn't have to do. So I'm looking forward to getting through more of Katie's stuff. I think she's brilliant actually. I think Hills of Heather and Bone is a magnificent wee novel, and I know everyone says this about Hills of Heather and Bone. I love how it just normalizes a secure adult relationship that is not on the rocks and is not, one of them isn't about to die or anything like that. It's just 2 people who've been married for a long time and actually love each other. Hills of Heather and Bone does that. And even if the novel was garbage, which it isn't, I still commend it for that, because that kind of representation is so hard to find as a central component of a fantasy work.
Yeah, we all need that representation of good marriage. Yeah.
Dairy with the good takes as well. Yep. Because I feel like when you get secure couples in a text, it's basically the author going, how can I break this family apart? And I hate that. It
feels like a lazy way to.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say lazy, but yeah. It's an easy way to create tension by having them be combative.
Yeah. What book do you have there, Evie?
You want classic stuff, Anitha? Go with Sappho.
Ah, good one. Yeah, agreed. Depth, but not impenetrable. The Confident Teacher: Developing Successful Habits of Mind, Body, and Pedagogy.
I think you're confident enough. I think you don't need that anymore, David.
You took words out of my mouth. I am about to say you're confident.
This is a collection of Japanese short stories for language acquisition. I'm going to keep these because they're expensive. These are like $20 a set. I'm going to keep these. Yeah. Druid.
Oh, hey, speaking of Druid, someone was talking about it before.
Who was talking about Druid?
They were recommending Druid for Dan Simmons.
I haven't read it. It's Charles Dickens's month before he died. Apparently, it's a historical horror novella that basically I think the idea is that
that's supposed to be a novella.
Did I say novella? Sorry, novel.
Yeah. Okay, I was like, wait, is it a collection of novellas or something?
Apparently, like his final fictional character, Edwin Drood, is actually or the murderer of Edwin Drood is the antagonist because he's off the page. Like I have no idea. I haven't read it.
Interesting. Keep it.
Keep it.
Apparently, it's good. Apparently, it's one of his good ones.
I love Dan. Right. Okay. You're gonna tell me to chuck this one. Have either of you heard me talk about Kenneth Goldsmith?
Hey, name sounds familiar, but I have no clue who that is.
It's a gold, gold in the name, right? He's an experimental writer. And his focus, he's a poet, but his focus is plagiarism and where the line is with plagiarism. So all of his books are plagiarized, or are found material. So you're going to hate this.
Books are plagiarized, or he plagiarized other books?
Let me explain. So all of his stuff, he doesn't write a single word. He just reshapes and reorganizes text. He's read in the White House. He read to Michelle Obama. So he is a big deal.
I think that's why I heard the name.
Yeah, he has a poetry collection called Fidget, which is just him explaining all his bodily functions for the day. So fingers curl, push glasses up, scratch nose. That's the whole poetry collection. He has another poetry collection called Soliloquy, where it's just Evie. Listen, it's just all the words that he said that week. Hello, how are you? Yeah, good. That's it.
I'm gonna go blind from wanting to roll my eyes back into my head.
I have a question. Sorry, Evie. Why is he popular?
Oh, Derry, that's a no for me. I mean, he took off. You know, this is the interesting thing about Kenneth Goldsmith. You kind of got to view him almost as an artist more than a writer, because you don't really have to read his stuff. It's just about the premise or the idea. I think he's famous, in my opinion, because he took off. I read Fidget, and it's terrible, Ben, because he I can't even say it on my channel, but yes. Anyway, he took off in the internet age, just as the internet was taking off, and this idea of people talking about stuff and posting their articles online, and blogging about their day, all this kind of stuff. So I think he became a well-known poet at about that time when we were all kind of unsure about language in the internet age. And I think in some ways he kind of anticipated repurposing of material, because what is AI these days? What is ChatGPT but the repurposing of material? So performative art, Derry, I would say it's totally performative art. This book called Capital, which is gorgeous, is just a collection of quotations about New York City. So it's just people talking about New York City. He's just collected it and collated it and put it in a book. Evie's going to read this whole thing cover to cover. Looks like that. And it's
I need to close your eyes and close your ears real quick, because I need to gag.
Oh, Evie.
It is, I guess you could say that Kenneth Goldsmith is the writer because he organized the material. As the curator, he is the what could you say? The author, because he is the one who selected. But really with Kenneth Goldsmith, it's just the idea is that he is the plagiarist poet, which is kind of gimmicky, and it's sort of performative art. But I found myself very interested with it because it's at the, if literature is like a map, he is the one who is at the very edge of the map, sort of peeking over the boundaries to see what's possible.
Marianne, I'm going to create a second channel for specifically that. I will make dozens of dollars.
I am sorry, David. I'm with Evie on this one.
But listen, I don't even know if I'm pro Kenneth Goldsmith. I just find the conversation really interesting. He did have a non-fiction book explaining his ideas. I think it was called Wasting Time on the Internet. I think it was called.
I'm wasting time on this guy.
Yeah. But you know what? I don't want to throw it away. I wonder if I can put it with the old books and justify keeping it with my parents. It's performance art. I think performance art is the best way of putting it, Derry. I think that's right. So I'll put it here for now and never read it, but enjoy it as an art piece.
No comment. I don't
Right.
know.
I think our burgeoning friendship has just been ruined by my explanation of Kenneth Goldsmith. I'm going to toss this one. This is a history of the American Revolution. I really wanted to get into history at some point, but realized that it's easier to watch YouTube video essays and things.
I was going to say watch documentaries. Yeah,
exactly. International perspectives on the teaching of literature in schools.
Check it.
Succeeding with your literature review. I did succeed with my literature review, so
yeah.
I think someone who
is that supposed to be like, hey, how to succeed in like writing reviews? I'm confused.
No, so it's when you're doing a literature review at university, you have to come up with like a research question and then find all the articles that have already addressed that question, and then you kind of synthesize the data to find out what they're kind of saying in that big
It's
picture.
like writing a paper.
Yeah, or it's like finding everyone else's writing and then finding the key points.
Got it.
It is like writing a paper, technical paper, same thing.
Sorry, Marianne made me laugh there. True. I'm not even selling Kenneth Goldsmith to anyone. I'm going to do a video on my channel, I think, before I leave Scotland about the 5 weirdest books I own, and Kenneth Goldsmith is going to be there. You're right, Barry, but I also don't think I'm going to ever read them again.
We tossed at least 20 teaching textbooks.
But there's one here I'm going to keep. Fiction and social reality, literature and narrative as sociological resources. I think that one's interesting. But
that definitely sounds interesting because there are like main keywords in the title.
Yeah, I don't want to keep anything just for the sake of having them smugly on my shelf. I think that's a waste of money. Speaking of toss, my least favorite thing I ever read in high school.
Oh.
Listen, people give a lot of crap to Great Gatsby.
Bad cover, actually.
That's the original cover.
That's a bad cover.
No, I think it's a great cover. It's very indicative. But yeah, a lot of people, at least in the US, we were taught The Great Gatsby in school, and people hate the Great Gatsby because it was taught in school. I reread it as an adult, and I loved it, and I understand why it's taught in school, but I love it.
It's almost one of these books that we do a disservice teaching in school, because you're right, if you do find it as an adult, you find this beautifully rich, complex tapestry of a novel. Mm-hmm. And when you find it in school, it's something you have to write an essay on. And I did it for my hires, which is kind of, I think, the equivalent of like SATs in the US. Like it was the big academic year. And I loathed it. And I never did very well academically when I wrote on The Great Gatsby. I was much better writing on poetry. But I think if I encountered it as an adult, I would have enjoyed it more.
I will say that Jordan Levitt, when he was on Jimmy's Chatting with Nuts, he blew my mind.
Oh, I remember.
He read The Great Gatsby, and his reading of it was that Gatsby is at the very least, a biracial man, if not a black man. And I'm like, oh my God.
Interesting.
When he's like, when you look at it, if you see him as a black man, like everything, all the racist stuff that Daisy's husband says makes sense. And I'm like, oh my God, you're right.
I'm Googling that right now. That is such an interesting interpretation.
I haven't read Great Gatsby, but I know what is it about and all. But yeah, when he was talking about it, it blew my mind as well because nobody talked about it in that perspective. It is completely new.
Yeah, everyone talks about classism, which is fair. Sorry, Marianne, you I know you wrote Tender as the Night, but I read it as Tender as the Flesh, which is a
So
complete.
did I did that too. I almost jumped in to go, oh, I read that last year, and then I'm like, no, I haven't.
Did you like Tender as the Flesh?
I quite liked it. It's one of these books that I don't know if I enjoyed reading, but it stayed with me.
It is.
The ending is fabulous.
That's one of the few books that my husband and I have buddy read together because my husband's not a big reader. And we're going to be reading Augustina Basterica's newest English translation, The Unworthy, hopefully soon. But we both loved Tender as the Flesh. We're both horrified by that one scene.
Yep.
Hope it's the same one that you're thinking of.
I think it is.
Does not involve humans. I'll just say that.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Yeah.
A companion to romanticism.
Romantic! If you're not going to keep it, put it on the Evie pile.
Oh my god.
I did wonder if that was going to happen.
Sorry. That was loud. I'm sorry.
It's okay. We like enthusiasm on the channel. Right. These are some poetry collections that are really small. And I'm just going to keep them because they're so skinny that there's no issue in keeping them.
Ooh.
It's thick.
Have you read it?
It's hard to find.
Have you read?
It's not that hard to find
It's like
because
£30 in Scotland.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I found it in used bookstores here for $5 in Canada, $5, and I put it in book box thing, traveling books box thing, and Ben took it when I sent it to Grace.
Anitha, we need a Robert McCammon David pile because I have not been able to find. Robert McCammon and KJ Parker are the two authors that when I go into Amazon and just type the name in and click used, nothing comes up.
Then keep it.
Have you read Boy's Life, David?
No. I've not read. I read 100 pages of this and I stopped reading, not because I disliked it, but because it was just the wrong time. You know what that's like?
Yeah.
Right, I'll keep it. Seamus Heaney, Good Poets. I think this is my sister's book. Have you heard of this? I think this might have gone into the wrong pile.
I have never heard of that.
I don't think this is mine. By Salvador Plasencia. My sister is quite big into Spanish writing, and whether that's Spain or kind of Central South American literature. And I wonder if that's where this is from. I have no idea. I'm going to put this to one side because I don't think it's mine.
By the way, Andrew, it's not me stealing David's books. It's me, unburdening him.
Yes.
Do you know? We've done about 200 books, and in the Evie and Anitha pile, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, which ain't so bad.
That's actually not bad.
Could have been a lot worse.
I'm pretty sure there are only like 3-4 for Anitha. Rest are Evie.
Watchmen.
Hey, I know that cover. Yeah, Watchmen.
I have no skin in the game.
I've read it. I'm gonna
chuck it.
I'm gonna chuck it, and someone else can read it and enjoy it.
Yeah.
Weight is the key. Japanese textbooks. So I'll keep those.
Wait.
Guys, we're on to like the final 20.
Yay!
The Dark Tower graphic novel adaptation. These are hard to find, I think. Now.
I'd keep it.
I think I need to keep it. I think it's probably. I need to check, but I would imagine these things are not cheap anymore.
ADHD reader says, Gabrielle Roy is an author I now love, but reading in school was absolute torture. She's a legendary French-Canadian author that changed the game. But 17-year-old ADHD did not agree.
ADHD reader, are we still doing our live stream tomorrow, mate? I can't say that. ADHD reader and I are...
Does ADHD reader have a booktube channel?
Yeah, he's great.
I'm sorry, I did not realize that.
No, well, I've told him off for this. I hope you don't mind me saying this, ADHD reader. He kept posting stuff and then deleting it. And I had a word with him. I said, mate, stop deleting your videos. They're good.
Listen, that is just a symptom. He's just reinforcing his channel name, ADHD. I do the same thing.
Yeah.
I post things, then realize I don't think that's good enough to post, or I get self-conscious about it, and then I just delete it or unprivate it or whatever you call it.
Your first video made me laugh. I went on an Evie deep dive just about 3 hours ago. Just
tier ranking with Emily Bradley's novels. Yeah. I thought it was funny, so
I liked it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
What was I going to say? I forget. Doesn't matter. Right, Derry. We're keeping this bad boy.
Oh yeah.
Chuck it.
That's gonna be worth
that chonker.
100.
That chonk. Oh, that is old cover. Okay.
But it's old cover, but it's the newest release, so I suspect it's not. I do have the first Dungeon Crawler Carl in this hardcover, and sorry, in this style.
Wait, the first one?
No, this is book 7.
7.
No, I thought you said you had the first one in that style as well.
Yeah. Because so what happened, if anyone doesn't know in the chat, is that a big publisher bought Dungeon Crawler Carl, and as part of their publication deal, they were told, listen, you can no longer sell the old style covers, the self-pub ones, because they'll get in the way of our marketing. And so those covers basically overnight went from like £10-12 to like add a 0 on the end. So this one, this Inevitable Ruin, is not like that. But the first Dungeon Crawler Carl, which I bought just before the hype took off, is worth a pretty penny now.
It'll be worth money, because like I was going to buy the 7th one, but then literally the traditional publication had just been announced, and so Amazon took it off.
But I tell you what, the new covers I quite like. I think they're a nice style.
Yeah, I think it's minimalistic and it makes sense. So
yeah. ADHD reader, I think I've already said this to you, mate, so I don't want to beat a dead horse. The music video compilation I did, your section, especially when you sat down on the sofa and like I said, what's up, pumpkins? Most confident intro of anyone. So I just wanted to say that to you. I think I've said that to you already. So I'm gonna
also, if you want reinforcement, we all hate ourselves on screen. At least I hate myself on screen.
I just hate myself.
Well, I mean, I didn't want to be that dark and depressing, but I also hate myself.
The confident teacher. Yeah, but I think that the encouragement is not fake, mate. The encouragement is genuine. So anyway, so I just fill out my water. Guys, we're on to our final 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15, 16.
Am I the only one? Okay, this is not coming out of like hatred or anything, but I think I prefer old DCC covers. I don't see the appeal of new covers. I'm sorry to say this.
They're very minimalistic. The original self-published covers were very campy.
Yeah, they're fun, like goofy.
I think when you know what the story is about and you already like the story, they're good. I think, I'll be honest, the cover put me off. When it came in the post and I saw it, I was like, I probably won't enjoy that. And I put it to one side. And I'm so glad I picked it up. But I think the covers do a disservice of how clever the story actually is. And I think the reason they changed them is because they're good in hindsight once you've read the series. Maybe that's a good way of putting it. Mm-hmm. But yeah. I think I need to date this one. This is the Septuagint with the Apocrypha, which means it's a Greek translation of the Old Testament of the Bible. Again, handed down.
Well, you said Apocrypha, though.
Yeah, and you know what? I've never read the Apocrypha.
Okay, what was the language initially Bible was written in?
So the Old Testament was mostly written in Hebrew. Oh, what's this? I have a piece of paper in here. So the Old Testament was written in Hebrew, but the Septuagint is the Greek translation of the Old Testament. So it's the people when the New Testament was being written, what they were reading as their kind of their Bible, if you like.
Wait,
does that make sense?
Is there a table of contents on that? I'm curious what books they have.
It'll be Genesis through, what's the last one of the Old Testament? Malachi, and then the Apocrypha's in here too.
What's the Apocrypha that they have?
Say again?
What's the Apocrypha ones that they have?
Hang on.
I'm just curious, basically, if they have like what Gnostic Gospels they have, or if they have like Hebrew.
Well, it's the Old Testament Apocrypha, right? So it's going to be like Maccabees, I think, is one of them. I'm trying to find them. My eyes are glossing over it. I wonder if it's at the back, actually. I wonder if there's a second. Yeah. It's a beautiful book. I have to do some more research. Looks like that. But you know what? Someone who's actually studying this stuff would probably quite enjoy this. But I can't find the Apocrypha. You're right. I mean, it says here, right here, the Septuagint with Apocrypha, but it's not in the contents page. So I wonder if it's at the back.
Huh.
Marianne
has a question. Does it have Maccabees too?
Marianne, you put me on the spot and I resent it. I feel like I'm missing something from this book because it says on the cover with the Apocrypha, and the Apocrypha are not to be found. But obviously, oh, here it is. Maccabees. Yeah, it is at the back. I think it's just got one Maccabees. So this one ends on a cliffhanger, Marianne. I think it's just the first Maccabees. I've never read the Apocrypha. And I'm not going to start now. I'm going to put this to the side because it's a nice enough copy that it should go to a nice home from someone who would respect it. Okay, very quickly. Fearsome Engine by Ian Banks I'm going to keep because it's signed.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh.
Well, you are Eddie now. So.
Yeah, so it's signed to Eddie. I found this in a charity shop in Scotland. And apparently Ian M. Banks was like Brandon Sanderson, where he just signed everything. But I would be loath to give away a signed copy of an author who has passed away. So I'm going to keep this one.
Okay.
Willful Child by Erickson. It was fine. I love Erickson.
I don't know what the hell is that. Is it part of Malazan or something?
No, it's a sci-fi novel.
Oh.
You guys read this?
Hey, somebody recommended this to Jimmy recently in chatting in that. I do want to. This is set in India. That is an Indian author. I do want to read it. Anitha Pyle. If you want
Anitha Pyle? Yeah.
But so have you read it?
No.
Someone like it is what they compared it to two of Jimmy's favorite books. One is Ohio and the other one is
Copperhead?
No, very like sad book. Remind me what Jimmy recently read.
A Little Life.
No, not that level sad food. It's like exploring like a slice of life story.
Demon
like,
Copperhead.
No, not that. Huh?
I'm just joking.
Like something like Ohio. Oh my God! How did I forget?
Well, Anitha, this is for you because I have the Kindle version. I just remembered.
Okay.
So it's yours. Where's Alan when you need him? Suetonius, the 12 Caesars.
Oh, you should keep it.
Yeah. Again, I want to read more ancient history. I just at the end of the day,
what
when
about
I'm
the
tired,
13th Caesar?
Clearly didn't cut it.
John,
Hey, let's go.
Oh, there he is.
Alan is here.
What if Alan was here the whole time as we've been talking about him?
No, he wasn't here. He could not control himself like without typing.
Alan,
I would say that, but I think I assume this has the rest of it. Plus,
I'm looking for Thucydides. Alan, I kept Thucydides. Have you read him, and is he worth keeping? It's a raggedy
Alan
old
will say
copy.
yes, because he was excited when I showed him that I had history of the Peloponnesian War. He says
Andy,
I don't want to put
Sorry, you
words in Alan's mouth, but the history of the Peloponnesian War is exciting, according to him. And he says yes.
So, Alan, I read Herodotus's Histories, and we're talking like 4 years ago now, and I enjoyed it. I really loved kind of communing with an ancient writer, and then I never read any ancient writing since then. So, I'm looking to bring that back. Andy, I was going to say you missed me deciding which Malazan to keep and which Malazan to unhaul. So the Carcanis books have gone to a charity shop because I have them on Kindle, basically, and I imagine Broken Binding will do them at some point.
And Alan also missed seeing how pretentious David actually is. Oh my God, the books he has! It would have been hilarious if you had been here.
I'm just imagining Alan walking in on you talking about Kenneth Goldsmith. Right. John Milton, I will keep Evie because I've not read Paradise Lost. Paradise Lost. So I'll keep it and yeah.
And then you can read Paradise Lost 2, Electric Boogaloo, aka Paradise Regained.
Yeah. Is it like a Dante situation where the first one's great and then the other ones are okay, or is it still worth reading?
That's a great question. I have no say because I haven't read it yet. So
we're almost there, guys. Right, okay.
Alan Herodotus loves overestimating troop numbers. It makes me happy.
Also, Andy Smith saying, "How dare you? How dare you?"
I'm surprised, Andy, that you've not read Carcanis. I think you dig it. It's like Toll the Hounds, Dust of Dreams, The Crippled God, but even one more step up. The Rorschach texts. Speaking of our Godic literature, let me see if I can find it. How's this for pretentious? The book has a shark in it.
Yes, Alan, it is only Monday. I have like 6 days.
It's so pretentious.
It's a really good book. So it's all about monsters made out of meaning. So what if the meaning that we construct between ourselves, that is the stuff that comes alive and tries to attack us, which I guess does sound very pretentious, but it's an interesting concept. And it's quite hard to articulate, but this book is also quite hard to find, so I'm going to keep it.
Okay.
Red Rising. Talk to me about Red Rising. Is it actually good?
I attempted sample pages and I did not click with it, so I have no...
I think they're
do not trust my opinion.
I did not read it.
My sister might like it.
Okay.
Has anyone read King of Paradise by Richard Nell? It's a self-pub.
I know Jimmy has.
Jimmy read.
Okay. Did you like?
He did. I don't think he liked it.
So I posted on this was like Reddit like 2 years ago. I said, "Tell me the best self-pub."
Alan is saying pass. So
pass. So these were the two self-pub books and Dungeon Crawler Carl that were recommended as the best of self-pub at the time.
That one Blackstone had Joanna loves that series.
I've read it. It's okay.
I thought she just read the first book.
No, she read the entire trilogy. Chuck it. Both chuck it.
Chuck them both?
Yes.
I'll toss one.
Okay.
I'll toss Blackstone Heart. I'm going to keep Kings of Paradise. I'll read the first 20 pages and I might chuck it later. Should we do another pretentious one?
Yes.
Right. Do you know what? I Samwise. I don't disagree. I don't disagree. It felt very teenagey. It felt very weirdly YA. So this novel, let me just read how you're supposed to read this. Okay.
Oh, no.
Table of instructions. In its own way, this book consists of many books, but 2 books above all. The first can be read in a normal fashion, and it ends with chapter 56, at the close of which there are 3 garish little stars, which stand for the words, "the end." Consequently, the reader may ignore what follows with a clean conscience. The second should be read by beginning with chapter 73, and then following the sequence indicated at the end of each chapter. In case of confusion or forgetfulness, one need only consult the following list. There's the list there.
Okay, so this guy's trying to be pretentious, and he's just really writing a choose-your-own-adventure book.
No, but you don't choose your own adventure. You've got to follow the order that you said. First of all, Samwise, Alan went for like 4 hours. And also, I was very tired. It was 3:45 in the morning or something, but I was enjoying it. I actually quite enjoyed jumping in at the end of that live stream. This is a really famous book, though. I don't know if it's Julio or Julio Cortázar. This book is kind of well known as being like the House of Leaves before House of Leaves or something like that. I've not read it.
Dr. Nerdcraft and Tuesday Fox know about it, so...
I want to say don't get chuck it, but I don't want to be mean. Yeah, thank you, Alan.
Right. Scotch. All right, sorry, Dr. Nerdcraft, tell me. I'm going to keep it in limbo right now, and I'll based on your information.
Alan, you missed so many teaching textbooks, so many like poetry books, so many. Everything is pretentious. There are like barely 10.
Everything is pretentious.
What was that?
It's poetry about. So this is the guy who became poet laureate after Carol Ann Duffy.
Oh, got it. Okay.
So it's small. It's actually quite a nice little story. So a collection. So I'm going to keep it. We have 6 more books. 5 more books. 6 more.
We are done almost.
Okay. Don't be too happy, Anitha.
Chuck it.
Yeah.
You've already chucked all the other Joe Abercrombie, so.
I mean, Joe Abercrombie is so popular that I would keep it in case you need a dose of pretension. Okay, hopscotch is going in the donation. Okay.
That's chuck it box. What you put now?
Yeah, this is the donation. This is the chuck it box.
Yeah, he's gonna get rid of it.
Yeah.
He doesn't need pretension. That's.
Oh, Kai likes that book. That author a lot. He liked the book also.
I feel like Neil Stevenson you can find.
Yes.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. Okay. Another Stephen King hardcover, Black House. I've not read The Talisman.
Check it. I've heard it's just as bad, if not worse, than The Talisman, which is apparently bad. So
yeah, apparently Stephen King's writing the.
Why do you have so many Stephen King's hardcovers?
I think they were all just in a charity shop one day as a set. Like someone donated them all, and I bought them all because they were going fairly cheap. Like this one was £5, which is like $7.
Nice.
So like 5 of them for and I didn't know how much they were worth at that stage. I think I'm going to keep Misery and I'm going to keep Dolores Claiborne because those are shorter and they're older. ADHD reader, if I could kick you out the chat, I would for this heresy.
I mean, you can ban him from your channel.
Hang on, I don't want to do that. We're live streaming.
No, don't. I don't think you can. What, anyone can
See,
see?
what's a live stream if we don't blackmail our friends? We'll kick them out once in a while.
We just hyped him up and then I ban him permanently to the Shadow Realm. That doesn't seem. This is another pretentious collection of poetry called the Oulipo Compendium. I'm gonna keep it. Hard to find these days. This is one more academic text. Marjorie Perloff, who also loves Frank O'Hara, also likes Kenneth Goldsmith. So maybe you're gonna cancel Frank O'Hara from your baskets. This is what she calls Kenneth Goldsmith. Unoriginal genius, poetry by other means in the new century. So that's what he's trying to do. Whether or not it's good or not is another issue. But this book is hard to find. But
did you have a pile? Is that a pile over there?
No, that's textbooks. We don't need to worry about that. This is the last one.
Is that a toy house at the end?
Say again?
Toy house?
Dollhouse?
Yeah, this is the dollhouse that belonged to my sister that my niece plays with from time to time.
It's haunted.
It's a cute wee dollhouse, isn't it?
It is cute. Okay, what is the last book? We have last one.
We're almost there.
Check it.
What?
I'd say keep it, honestly, because I think it's really hard to find.
And I could read it.
Really hard to find.
And you know what? It's 243 pages. I could read it in a day.
You haven't read it, okay?
No.
And if you like Grady Hendrix, he's got many more books.
I've not read a word of Grady Hendrix.
I haven't read it, but I watched a vlog, I think, another booktuber, when she was reading it. I did not find it interesting. There was nothing appealing, at least for me.
Do you know my mate Lana?
Apparently it's formatted like an IKEA.
Yeah.
So there's like meta stuff. There you go.
Yeah.
You like this kind of weird books and experimental books, so keep it.
I do.
But it's not pretentious. It's very, very much genre fiction. It is in the genre of horror.
Okay, gang. I'm looking at what I've... Let me see if I can show you. Okay, so in terms of the getting rid of, you're gonna
you
see...
filled up a huge box and another box for donation, which is amazing.
Let me show you. Can I unplug these without doing anything stupid? Yeah. So this is donation, this box here. And this box, which way? Here. Those are all donations. That's pretty good. These are keeping, and they're falling apart. That's the Anitha and Evie pile. This is the I'm not sure. And then this is the old stuff and the manga that we'll deal with.
All right, are we going to go through the I'm not sure again to do like a second round? Or no?
No, because I think the I'm not sure. First of all, it's been 3.5 hours, and I don't want to subject you to that. But second of all, I think the I'm not sure is they're going to go. It's just a case of finding the right person to give them to, as opposed to just giving them to just a shop. So I think leave that with me. Cool. That's a controversial statement, so I'm just checking very quickly. The Dark Tower adaptation is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life, and I'm angry.
I have had a weird relationship with Stephen King's works. I read Misery. Well, so I read Cujo when I was in 7th grade, and I got in trouble by my math teacher for reading. So I never finished Cujo. I think I had like, I don't know, 50 pages left or something like that. Didn't read any Stephen King until I read Misery a few years ago. I read it. I understood what he was doing, but I hated Paul. Was that his name?
Yeah.
I hated that character.
Is there any good protagonist called Paul?
Dune.
No, I don't like Paul Atreides. Anyway, sorry to cut you off.
Oh, you're making a Dune reference. Yeah, I totally missed that.
And you call yourself a Dune fan. I got the reference. Okay.
Evie, wait. Evie, my favorite video on your channel, as I was doing I was saying deep dive, my very shallow dive this morning, the one where you get the question on Wuthering Heights wrong.
You should see the first book Jeopardy 2. She got Frankenstein wrong.
Oh, that's a part 2. That Wuthering Heights was a part 2. There's a. This is why we're waiting for the trifecta of persuasion for Alan to create a persuasion question so that I can get it wrong.
I'm trying to think. I read Persuasion like.
I read only. Oh, sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, you go.
I read only one Stephen King. You won't believe what is that.
The Colorado Kid. I don't know.
It's not a horror book. It's Firestarter.
That is a horror book. What are you talking about?
It's not a horror book.
Yeah, it's kind of a sci-fi with
like
horror
sci-fi.
elements. Yeah.
But anyways,
father-child relationships is quite a good one in that book.
Yeah, so it is a fast read. It felt more like watching an action movie.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair.
So to finish my thought, because I kind of like stopped and then as if I was done with my thought. But I read Misery, didn't like the main character, but I understood what he was going for with it. So I was like, I get it, but I didn't enjoy it. And then I tried to read, oh God, what was that one that I tried reading? I read Night Shift.
I love Night Shift.
Didn't like it.
Oh, never mind.
Didn't like it.
I tried to read
Skeleton Crew.
You read Green Mile, right?
Yeah, I'm getting to it. And then I tried reading Skeleton Crew. I DNF'd that collection because I was like, I can't do it anymore. Stephen King's not for me. And then I read The Green Mile, and mind you, I've seen the film adaptation, so I knew the broad strokes of it. But I really, really liked The Green Mile. Like, I loved The Green Mile. It's so good.
I'm a huge King fan, but I also appreciate that like some people will just bounce off him. I think The Green Mile is a masterpiece.
He's written so many books. Like, of course,
Evie, have you read that collection with Shawshank Redemption?
Oh, I forgot about that. I also read Shawshank Redemption. I was very underwhelmed by it. So.
Really?
I read Fairy Tale at the start of this year, and it was awful. I haven't read I try and read a few Stephen King books a year. And I read this thing in February, and I haven't read a single Stephen King book since. It just was dull. It was dreary. And I'm beginning to feel with Stephen King. I mean, I love the bloke, but I've read all of his books, but like 20. And I'm looking at these 20, and it's the 20 books that no one talks about. And I'm like, is it worth it? Or it's like Black House and things like that. I'm like, is it worth it? Or is it better just to maybe not complete this man's bibliography?
I think it was read by Kyle. He was like, I'm going to read the rest of Stephen King's stuff. And he trudged through the muck and the mire of his stuff. And then he left. Do you remember what book he left until last? I think it was Pet Sematary that he had never read before. Because he's like, I know that Pet Sematary is good because everybody talks about it. So he left Pet Sematary for, as the last. So it didn't have a bad taste in his mouth, essentially. So
he hated Tommyknockers and Talisman. Like
everyone hates Tommyknockers and Talisman.
He said it's like the worst book he has ever read.
I mean, I think was the Tommyknockers not like when he was like properly drug-addled, like properly like basically unconscious writing. Yeah, I don't know. I've heard that's the one that he wrote, and then his wife was like, intervention, get sober, and he did.
I also Forgot. I read The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon.
Oh, that's a good wee book.
I thought it was fine. It was like 3
Yeah, it's
stars.
good.
Yeah, it was fine. I mean, if I had liked baseball, if I was into baseball, I think I would have liked it more. I'm just not a sports fan. So
Can I talk about the Dead Zone for a minute?
yes.
Would anyone mind if I slightly spoil the Dead Zone? Not fully, just something that happens mid-novel.
I don't care.
Okay, we'll chat. I'm going to spoil a section of the Dead Zone. I spoke about this, I think it was one of the Why Read episodes. I think it was. I can't remember. In this novel, our protagonist gets into a coma. He wakes up like 15 years later and he has kind of psychic powers. Okay. When he goes into the coma, he's on this first date or he's going out with someone. Okay. He wakes up 15 years later. His wife or his girlfriend at the time has obviously moved on and got remarried. Okay. Halfway through this novel, they have like a bloody romantic weekend together and shack up. And I believe it's in like a flipping treehouse or something. I could be getting that wrong. It's painted as this like romantic like get together of what could have been had the man not fallen into a coma. The man, by the way, his name is John Smith. Like, come on, Stephen, John Smith. Anyway, like it's painted in this like really romantic, lovely, like, oh, they got to recapture the moment for a weekend. You just cheated on your husband. Sorry, like you just had an affair, and Stephen King is drawing this thing like, oh yes, and maybe they
So
could really
romantic.
have romantic catharsis about what could have been. I'm like, you just had an affair. And she's like, she's put her clothes on. She's like, this can never happen again, but it was wonderful. I'm like, what are you talking about? Sorry, it makes me so angry. Stephen King has a weird thing with infidelity, and I think it's work out because it makes me so. And I was going to make a video on it, but then I'm like, that's all I have to say. This rant is my Stephen King video
Just
because it
clip
happens.
this and then
Yeah, it happens in It too. Like I'm not going to go into the weeds with It. The It one is slightly more justifiable because one of the person's spouses is heavily abusive, but also like Stephen King treats infidelity like a sensible choice sometimes, and it makes me so mad because the man is so clever and he's actually so emotionally grounded. But for some reason, there's just this weird. Yeah, the pina colada. If you like pina, like what are you doing? Then we had a lot. Yeah. Oh my god, it makes me so angry. It makes me so angry. Anyway, it's the opposite of Hell's Kitchen.
In media, at least what I have watched growing up, media romanticizes infidelity a lot. Especially, at least, I mean, it is related to this issue. I get so angry because, I mean, growing up, I did not understand. There was this popular movie in South Indian language, one of the South Indian, very popular movie. They show that guy actually, elder guy, has like totally second family. Okay, complete family with kids, and the main characters of this movie are like son of the first family and the son of the second family. Those two are the main characters, and that guy is an like honest employee of this government office or something. So these bad guys want to bribe him and they won't take it. Finally, like they want to kill him, so both sons come together and save the dad. That's the concept of the story, but it was shown in such a way that like we all as audience should understand, like feel for dad, and the entire movie was like these families should not fight. Why the wives won't talk to each other? They should come together and be a good family. Why these both brothers won't talk to each other? As if it is wrong of them, because they hate each other. But that is evident now as a grown up person to me. Yeah, I'm getting there. So it's romanticized in a way that it is always the wrong of those wives, first wife and second wife, that they're not friends or sisters. It is shown like that. But and when I was a kid, I was 5 or 6 when I watched this movie first time. I hated those people and I hated those. They're brothers. Why do they hate each other? Something like that. Now, as a grown up now, I understand. But and I mean, there are many movies like that with this concept, but always men have second families. Like men cheat. These infidel only men have. Like women are like proper women, like that. But now these days it's completely different. I mean, they want to do these like serial killer movies and all. In the flashback scene, the mother cheats, So the dad will get so his ego gets hurt, and basically dad commits suicide, and the son gets becomes a serial killer, and he starts killing other women as a as grown up. That's the stories now in movies. I get so in first of all, I am not supporting infidelity here, but when a man cheats, it's the media is like, okay, we should forgive them. Both families should join and become one big family. But the wife cheats and the son becomes serial killer somehow. And in one of the movies dialogue is this: I understand why he's killing women. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah. Yeah, it's all about representation, isn't it? Like, I think this is something that kind of goes to the heart of this, which is that first of all, I wanted to put Preach Anitha at the bottom. We're going to keep that here for a while.
I'm sorry for the rant and yelling.
No. We endorse rants. We endorse rants here. But it's I think culturally, we think that we are impervious to these representations, that we can read these things and go, okay, but that's not affecting me. But the truth is, especially when we grew up around story, all of these representations go on to affect the way we see the world. And so if, let's say, a teenager is reading about people having a bunch of affairs, the treatment of that affair is going to, because you can have like an affair in a story. I'm not saying you can't have infidelity in a story, but it's when it's sort of endorsed by the story. There will be, especially younger people, who read that and then will, even if they're not realizing that's going on, will sort of begin to think, oh, well, I guess that's kind of okay socially then. So it's a topic that I find really interesting, because I think we all think that we're impervious to these representations, when in reality they do alter us if we're not careful. No, I enjoyed your.
I agree.
Tangentially related, TLDR version. It's anti-feminism. Like it's not a feminist thing. Stupid patriarchy. So the fascinating thing, like the thing that I love about this look at Helen of Troy is that, one, it's written by a female historian. So obviously every writer, historian, nonfiction, fiction, whatever, is going to have their biases. There's no objectivity even when it comes to history. Everyone has their biases. So she's obviously writing about Helen of Troy and exploring and trying to uncover Helen of Troy from an archaeological, mythological perspective. From a female point of view, like she is a female historian. So she has sections looking at Helen from various avenues. So I'm just going to read off two quotes from two different sections. When Helen is the active rather than the passive partner, men across time and space rush to label her as a...
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
got it.
I know, David, you're like, we want to keep it PG so you can be monetized. And throughout history, this is what Helen has become. A woman who has inspired such lust and such loathing, she is forced into being a will-o'-the-wisp, always changing her form, here today, gone tomorrow. She is protean, and because of that, she is perfect. She can become whatever the men around her want her to be, whether, like the ill-fated statue in the Hippodrome, a gleaming reminder of the glory of female sexuality, or, following the desecration of 1204, an amputated, broken memento of man's talent for acts of greed and execration. She's referring to like statues of Helen and stuff like that. And it's basically whatever men want Helen to be, that is what she has become. And that's what she's supposed to be, rather than, hey, how about look at her from a female perspective?
Do you know, I'm just thinking, I think that's a really interesting point, because what was the line about Helen, the face that launched 1,000 ships?
Yep.
There's no description of that face. It's just whatever we want to imprint upon that face, which is what
she actually goes into that. It's like we never get a physical description other than she has fair hair, golden hair. We never get a description of her face, and it's always what we put onto Helen.
That's so interesting. What's the book called?
It's called Helen of Troy, Goddess, Princess, and also the story behind the most beautiful woman in the world.
So Helen of Troy, Goddess, and Princess?
Yeah, if you just do Helen of Troy by Bettany Hughes, I'll put it in the chat.
I was trying to put it in the chat, but I was
I
failing.
should have read that with you and Sal. I missed it, Evie. Now I'm regretting it.
Gotta put
It's
that up there.
so good. So good.
By the way, Jana Rose, I saw what you wrote. Thank you for saying that. I mean, I hesitate to like rant most of the times, but oh my god, I
I like
stopped
the rants.
these days. I
Sorry to be fair.
stopped watching, so many movies because of this. Because whatever I see, it's raging me actually.
I appreciated the rant. I mean, we all like Alan, don't we? And Alan is the master of a good rant. So
It's true.
rants are thoroughly endorsed here.
Listen, rants are not rants when they're justifiable. Like when they come from a good, like it's well intentioned, like good rants. I don't know if that makes
See,
sense.
I mean, when it comes to from this kind of established media, when they're endorsing them, many people, entire generations, are getting what affected by them, like influenced by them. So many people have that kind of ideas. Even now, I have seen like my classmates talking like, "Oh my God, I don't want to get into all those." That is a separate. We'll talk about that later.
Well, I will, because it's approaching midnight here.
Oh gosh.
By midnight, yeah. Okay, I thought it was almost 1 a.m. I have to head to Edinburgh tomorrow to pick up my Japanese visa from the consulate. So I'm going to have to cut things there. However, both of you, thank you very much for joining me, and thank you for helping me excise some of the fat from my pile. I didn't think we were going to get through it all, but we did, and we had some time for conversation at the end, which is really nice.
Thanks for the invite, David. It was fun. I tease that they're pretentious books, but there's so many I did not know, and I had so much fun, getting to know you through your books, actually.
Well, I'm going to add Kenneth Goldsmith to the Anitha pile, so don't worry about it.
Oh, no, it took me a second to realize.
It's going to be a collection of Kenneth Goldsmith stuff, nothing else.
No, please.
Thank you. Thank you both for coming on.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chat. You're amazing.
Bye, guys.